Ah, whew.
Wife's Christmas party last night, David.
Oh, that's right.
And then tonight, some other
Right, strangers.
veterinarian.
Right, some
Right.
total for you anyway,
Oh,
basically, like, who are you and what am I doing here?
but this is like the Collier County Veterinarian Society. I don't know, some crap that her boss is in charge of this year, so she feels an obligation to go, which means I have an obligation to go. This is very much Dr. and Mr. Miller. Don't kid yourself.
Nice.
I'm hoping that there's a red carpet and pictures that are taken, magazines, so that can be put in there.
There you go. N Magazine or whatever it is.
Exactly, one of them.
Schwartzel's Gulf Shore, whatever.
Oh, God, it would be great to get in that. He wouldn't even know, and then he'd find out after the fact and fire somebody. I saw because the Wink reporters were there and the NBC reporters were there at the casino. I almost asked, have you seen Jim Schwartzel lately? Give him my best.
Yes. It is hump day. Yeah. Whew. I had to fly Delta because I needed the miles to stay gold. By the end of the year, I was coming up like 180 short for gold medallion status. So I booked the flight home on Delta. So I had to stop in Atlanta. So, it's a late one.
Time did you get in?
Landed at 9, got here at 10. Takes a while to set the equipment back up, unpack, do the starting 5. So I get to sleep like 11:20.
It sounds about the same as me.
You always
roughly.
do the starting 5 the night before?
I try to. If I'm too tired or what have you, I just go to bed and I wake up at like 4:30 and do it in the morning. I'll leave like 3 to 5 scores open. So that's all I have to fill in. But I have to check to make sure that, nothing happens, like a coach got fired overnight.
Right.
I watched your guys' wings for like a period and a half.
Yeah, good win last night.
And they don't play any defense.
No.
Holy,
Nope.
wow.
They're fast. They're fun to watch.
They are, but they're skilled, they're fast, and in their own zone, they're a mess.
Absolutely. Okay, here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. How's your week going? What do you say we get over the hump together? How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network. FloridaSportsNetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. It is Christmas holiday party season in the Miller household. Mark, how'd it go last night?
Well, number 2, the one Sunday was the open house. Last night was the wife's work Christmas party. Always a gala event. It was, it was fine. It's a Christmas party. I go, I meet people again for the second, for every year I see the same people, get reintroduced to them and go through that deal. And it's a Christmas party. Eat some food, have a couple of free drinks, stuff some appetizers down my face. It's fantastic.
But you like her boss, right?
Her boss is a great guy.
Yeah.
Super guy. He's tremendous.
Right.
He's treated her very well over the years.
Right. So there's no conflict there. You look forward to it, the whole deal. I know from a food and drink standpoint, he takes care of the company.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, high rent district last night.
Right.
You'd have been on. Put it this way, I was in an area of Southwest Florida that you would have felt uncomfortable in.
Oh yeah, would have had the shakes.
Oh yeah, numbered streets downtown Naples, David. You know,
Oh,
thirds
my
and
goodness.
fifths. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I would have U-turned it about 30 blocks before then. Yeah, I gotta go. I don't belong here.
I was only upset about one thing though. There is one of her coworkers' husbands who is a drip. There's just no other way to describe it. He's just not a nice person.
Oh,
And I make a point every year to go up and say, "Hey, how you doing? How's it going? Merry Christmas." And he didn't walk in with his wife. They forgot something. So he had to go back, and I never got my chance to do it because it makes him really uncomfortable, and it makes my night every year to do that.
I love the fact that you do that. It's very George Carlin-esque of you. You know, walk into an empty movie theater and sit right next to somebody and go, "Hey, how you doing?"
Exactly.
He goes, absolutely freak them out. But you got another one tonight, right?
This one tonight's even worse because I have no idea who's at this. It's some thing that my wife belongs to that we've never attended this party. I have no idea really who's going to be
Ooh.
there. I will know no one at this. My wife is a veterinarian. When you properly introduce us, it is Dr. and Mr. Miller. Tonight is definitely Dr. and Mr. Miller. I'm
Mr.
nothing
Miller tonight.
I'm arm candy, baby.
Now, there was a time, you were younger, you were fitter. Okay. You fit the criteria of arm candy. Are you still arm candy in her eyes?
Well, in her eyes, I hope so. Certainly not any, I don't think the red carpet's going to be clamoring for pictures of me.
Well, good luck tonight, Mr. Miller.
Yep.
All right. Good luck tonight. 24 hours later, how does it feel, Dolph fans? Feel any better? No?
I don't think so. I will say one of my wife's coworkers, she is a diehard, lifelong Dolphin fan, listens to the show occasionally, knows exactly what I do for a living.
Uh-huh.
And she just walked up to me last night like her dog had been shot.
And remember, you're at a veterinarian's office party. So yes.
I mean, she was, and I just said, do you think you gave the division away last night? She's like, don't say that. Don't say that. But deep down, Dolphin, who is a diehard Dolphin, is very nervous right now, David.
Yep, the injury news getting worse. Okay. They're waking up this morning. They're going, I'll be damned, we really did lose to the Titans. Golly. What in the wide world of sports is going on here? But listen, let's just put that aside for the moment. Mark, our politicians are going to work. They are finally going to get something accomplished. We are suing the College Football Playoff Committee.
Good gracious. You've got to be kidding me.
And I don't know what they're expecting to win, but they want a pound of flesh. And damn it, they're going to get it. And our sitting attorney general proudly late yesterday afternoon said, I am a lifelong Gator. But where there's injustice, one must go find it and make it right. Do politicians realize that, listen, we put up with a lot for them? I mean, we know most of them are corrupt. We know most of them are not doing things in our best interest, and we tolerate it. Hell, we even vote for them again. But sometimes, and the credibility factor is not that good. But then they try to get involved in the sports world. And, they have those awkward events where they can't pronounce the team and the coach's name right, or they get the star player wrong. Those, and Now this is the other side. We're going to sue. I'm sorry, what?
Who? Why?
Barry Alvarez. I'm convinced they're suing Barry Alvarez.
Well, if you're going to sue somebody, sue ESPN. They're the ones that are responsible for this. At least get the right guy.
I agree. Sue Kirk Herbstreit. Man, oh man. I mean, he is already whining like crazy. Can't wait till he broadcasts nothing but SEC games because those fans are gentle. Okay, you're not going to get any grief broadcasting SEC games every week. Man, oh man. So sue Kirk Herbstreit. Sue ESPN and Kirk Herbstreit.
At least that lawsuit, people would go, hey, that's funny. I see what you did there, and that's a good one.
Put Joe Tessitore on the stand. Hey, Tess, first half of the ACC title game, you were talking about, what a championship defense this is. And they're going to get Rodemaker back for the playoff, and, they'll be formidable. And in the second half of the ACC title game, you were talking about how I don't know if this team can be in the playoff. Did you get a phone call? Did you
what
get
happened
a
at
text?
halftime?
Right.
What did the director and or producer say to you at the
Right.
half?
We subpoenaed your phone records. It looks as if you got a phone call from Bristol at 9:43 p.m. It lasted 1 minute. What was said? I mean, something. I mean, if we're going to law and order this, make it entertaining.
I'd like to see Kirk Herbstreit's text transcripts, please.
Right. Who's the hot assistant district attorney? I mean, come on. Let's Hollywood this up a little bit. But they're suing the College Football Playoff Committee. First off, the members change. Besides,
It's embarrassing. That's
no.
really what it's beyond embarrassing.
I mean, if you're Florida State, even do you pick up the phone and do you go, listen, we're furious with them, and if you want some entertainment, watch Game Day live from Dublin when we open the season next year with Georgia Tech. All right, because let me tell you, that is going to be a very uncomfortable 3 hours for Kirk Herbstreit and the gang. But yeah, just let it go. Let it go. We'll deal with this. We'll go to the Big Ten and we'll just beat them in big games. Okay? Golly. They're suing. Who? The College Football Playoff Committee. Okay.
Current members, next year's members, or just the committee at large?
Boog Corrigan? Is that the spokesperson? Is that who we're suing? Ah, man.
And suing for what?
Right. And not only that, the justice system moves so quickly. I mean, they're not going for a temporary injunction to try to get Florida State actually inserted into the playoff. They're suing. Is there a possibility that something good could come of this? I don't know about good. How about entertaining?
Well, maybe they can get them to change the name of it to the College Football Invitational.
How about, or the ESPN/Fox playoff committee going forward? Because that's what it'll be. Here's what I'm wondering, though. Do you think there's any chance they can get their hands on any texts and emails?
No.
Are you sure? I mean, this is an attorney general. They're going to court. I mean, that's what I'm wondering, because is it possible? Listen, we all know that what happened was a political fest. And we all know Florida State got screwed. But wouldn't it be great if there's actually a smoking gun email from somebody? You know, they're in their hotel room in Dallas there. They're ordering room service. They're not meeting until the next morning. And somebody emails the other and says, yeah, we're going to have to stick it to Florida State.
And Connor Stallions is the one that's delivering the message.
I will say, if Ashley Moody, the Florida Attorney General, if we should bring Connor Stallions into this mess somehow, some way. Have him serve the subpoenas or whatever. Golly.
It's a joke.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. It is. Not only that, the politician has to release the as a lifelong proud Gator, I still have to stand up for injustice wherever I see it. Oh, for goodness sakes.
Leave it to Florida. When in doubt, we will go all Florida.
We will Florida. Nobody can out Florida. No matter how hard you may try. Florida. We major in stupid blank.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best, and the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. How many games Draymond getting suspended for this one? Did you see the punch he threw?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Yes, I saw it. I don't know. How many more years do you think he plays, honestly?
He's a caricature now.
It's a joke.
Listen, it must have been bad. He apologized for it.
It was terrible. And I love Draymond. Like, I grew up watching Draymond at Michigan State, went to 2 Final Fours. I love Draymond Green. No one can defend this. What are you doing?
No, exactly.
I mean, the only reason I asked that question is because I think at some point they're going to start coming down unnecessarily hard so that they get rid of him.
Did you guys pay attention to the Denver-Chicago game?
I saw
with Jokic,
the Jokic ejection on Serbian night.
Serbian Heritage Night.
And they throw him out for basically nothing.
He yelled something at an official while running down court and ejects him. Doesn't just tee him up.
Ejects him on one tee.
Right. I mean, even the Bulls announcers were like, come on, man.
Well, everyone was just confused. They were like, did that seriously just happen? Or is this a ploy because it's Serbian Heritage Night? Or what's going on?
Michael Malone, the head coach of the Nuggets, when I heard what he said, I said, I don't understand the problem because when I grew up, that was a term of endearment in my house.
I doubt you've seen it, but it's been pretty funny because the end of the football game that you were at yesterday was predicted in the movie Coming to America.
I saw that.
Have you seen the Eddie Murphy?
Yeah.
Oh, the Eddie
where he walks into what's his boss there, and he's like, "Did you see the football game last night? The Giants of New York beat the Packers of Green Bay, and in the end, they triumphed by kicking an oblong ball through a giant H."
Yeah, that was great. Great movie.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
I'm a big Arsenio fan. And by big, I mean, like, I know that movie and maybe one other. Okay, here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We've got a pretty good show lined up. This is our show, right?
Last time I checked.
Man, I don't know. It seems pretty good. You know, we do a little Pro Football Network, a little hour from now with Dalton Miller. Seth Everett joins us for his weekly visit. Hey, it's that time. It's that time. We said after Army Navy. We got to start making the show a little more well-rounded. Got to start talking a little hoop, little puck.
Oh, I thought you meant we started to get ready for the draft and signing day.
Just come on now. Just play along at home, will you? Jake Chapman, the radio voice of the Orlando Magic. That's third best record in the league, Orlando Magic. Thank you very much. And we know you haven't been paying attention. That's why we're bringing Jake on. Show you
because they didn't do that well in the in-season tournament. You see it.
Right. Because, you know, they treated it like I did. They treated it as not that important.
Well, they lost out in aggregate scoring.
There's a hidden genius there. To some, it may just be hidden. To others, it's genius. And the Big O. No, not that Big O. Orlando Alzugaray will join us. Ooh, see how he's taking the Dolphins loss. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So that's our show lined up for you. Speaking of the association, did you see what? There's two strange things that happened last night. Although, I don't know. I think poor word choice by me.
One strange thing happened. One
egregious.
Predictable?
Yes.
So the predictable is, hey, you're not going to believe this. Draymond Green got ejected last night.
And he's going to get suspended.
Well, at some point, when does Adam Silver just go, I'm really losing my patience with you? Does he need to try the, Draymond, I'm really disappointed in you? Because that's the line that hurts, Mark. That's the one. When my grandfather said that to me at 15, I still haven't recovered 42 plus years later.
I think it's too late to tell Draymond you're disappointed.
Well, that would have to come from Steve Kerr or Steph Curry or someone like. It can't come from Silver. He doesn't respect Silver, clearly.
Well, that's not true. We don't know that. I mean, do we need to bring him on the inside the TNT set? Does Shaq have to tell him that? Barkley? I mean, does somebody have to say, Draymond, I'm going to try to do Shaq here. I'm really disappointed in you.
Well, here's the thing that you might want to tell Draymond. You're ruining your chance for the Hall of Fame by the way that you're ending your career. Because many people believe he's a automatic Hall of Famer.
I do not, but yes.
But people do.
Most do.
Most believe he's a Hall of Famer, David.
Yes, they do.
And I think he's borderline. And I'm a huge Draymond fan. But our last impressions of Draymond are going to be the caricature of what he was. And it's hitting guys and pushing guys and hitting a teammate. And those things could inevitably cost him the Hall of Fame. I don't think they will, but that's the direction I'd go in. So the history of you is changing because of how you're ending your career.
Is this worse than Rodman? You guys lived through that. I've only
no.
seen so Rodman's in.
No.
Rodman's in.
No. Rodman was nuts. Unfortunately, that's a true statement. No, I mean Dennis for a year and a half was completely unhinged. No, I don't think Draymond is even close. I mean, never mind the fact that Draymond's never worn a wedding dress to a book signing, but no, I don't. I mean, Rodman started doing things to people who weren't even playing in the game. So I don't think Draymond's gone there yet.
Rodman never punched a teammate that we're aware of.
Well, that's only because the teammate would have killed him.
The only reason I asked that question is they kind of have the same arc. Similar, at least.
Also,
Rodman's in the Hall.
I'll say this. Draymond, more well-rounded player, but there's nothing that Draymond did as well as Rodman defended and rebounded. I mean, Rodman was the better player. I'm sorry. May not have been as well-rounded, but what Rodman did, the two things he did, he was great at.
He was the best in the league at them. And I don't think you can say that about one element of Draymond's game.
But I know. Oh, man, if we start going down. If you think about it, though. See, Draymond might be able to beat up everybody on the Warriors. Think about the two teams that Rodman's most closely associated with. The bad boy Pistons. Take a look at that roster. Where do we think Rodman is on the tail of the tape? We're ranking fighters, if you will, on the bad boy Pistons.
Third,
John Sally would have kicked his butt. He would have been damn near dead last. I think Vinnie Johnson. I think he might have gotten the microwave. That's about it. Isaiah would have killed him. All right. Dumars wouldn't have fought him. Okay. He'd be Switzerland. He would have said, no, I don't partake. But honestly, what? Mahorn? Lambeer? I mean, James Edwards? Okay. Hell, when they call Adrian Dantley, then Aguirre. No, Rodman's losing all these fights. Then the Bulls. Are you kidding me? Both Michael and Scotty would have killed Rodman.
I'm just saying, Draymond has become unhinged.
Yes, it's embarrassing. Not as embarrassing as the officiating in Chicago last night, though.
No.
They ejected. They didn't tee him up. They ejected. Is he the best player in the league? Jokic? One of the 5 best players in the league for sure.
Absolutely.
On Serbian Heritage Night in Chicago.
1 tee and an ejection. The Chicago announcers were beside themselves over the ejection.
Adam Amin and Stacey King were both saying, we did not come here to see you. Jokic
Serbian Heritage Night.
Serbian Heritage Night.
Guess how many Serbian players are in the NBA right now currently?
No idea.
6. Jokic is one of them, defending champ, like David said, maybe the best player in the world. Serbian Heritage Night.
Right.
You're out.
Serbian Heritage Night.
Of which there's a huge Serbian population in Chicago. You could hear the boos when he's kicked out of the game. People were not happy. That's who they had come there to see.
I mean, what in the world do you have to say to get ejected? Not teed up, but ejected.
What'd you say to him, Reg?
That's ridiculous. Man. So, anyway, crazy night in the association.
And for the night, we're talking about the officials in the NBA, not the NFL, David.
No, they took the night off. I mean, we can still talk about them if you want, but I just say we go to Chicago instead. Man, that's a bad look for Draymond and the official. Whew. So Miller and Moulton. So we will talk a little association in the show today. For some of you, it will be a shock. Hold on to the steering wheel tightly. You know, keep your eyes on the road. Pull over if you have to. But it's that time. We have to diversify our portfolio, Mark.
You're right. I know you're right. I'm hesitant at times because I know how well the stocks do in the other sport.
Right. Yep. A steady return on those stocks. And now we're going to take a risk. We're going to play a few stocks in the market that could go wildly up or wildly down. The starting 5 is next.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hey y'all, it's Ben Allen. When it comes to singing and performing live shows, I'm in my comfort zone. When it comes to wanting to surprise my wife with diamonds, I'm a bit lost. That's why I go see my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd helped me blow my wife away when we got engaged, and I've been applauding them ever since. If you're in the market for diamonds this holiday season, Southwest Florida has been giving Jason and Todd a standing ovation for over 20 years. Go see them and let Jason and Todd know that Ben Allen sent you.
Thanks, Ben. We're proud of you and your accomplishments and thrilled that you are part of our Diamond District family.
This holiday season, visit Jason and me at the Diamond District. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Have a Molly Christmas, a Molly-made Christmas. Give your family a gift of a clean house. When you're looking for professional house cleaning services, you want to make sure that you find a team that can accommodate your budget, schedule, and cleaning preferences. Molly Made is proud to provide thousands of families across the country with industry-leading services tailored to their specific needs. Call Molly May today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymay.com/FTMYERS. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
You have any family or friends in Saginaw that know Draymond?
No.
What high school did you go to?
Nouvelle.
Nouvelle. So that's how you know Tim Novak.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, I was gone for about 5 days, and my wife went looking for our marriage certificate. She needed it for something. I can't imagine what for, but okay. Maybe it's for the divorce proceedings. I don't know. But she found, apparently, in a huge bin in my closet, a whole bunch of like fall clothing that I have, that I had packed away in Southwest Florida because, you don't really need it there. And so she, thought she did something really nice, and she unpacked it. And so she filled up my dressers with a bunch of clothing that I don't really need. And the rest was all stacked on my bed. So I get home last night and I'm really tired. I got a big suitcase and I got the equipment, and my bed's not available to put everything on because I have all this clothing on my desk and on my bed. And then I go to put it in the drawers, and well, there's no space in the drawers. And then this morning she says, "Hey, did you see I found your clothes?" And I want to go, "Oh yeah. Oh, I saw, all right." Yep.
Did you maybe think the empty spaces in the drawers were from the clothes that I took on my recent trip with me?
There's so much that I wanted to say, but she was so proud of herself, and because she was so helpful.
When in fact she wasn't helpful at all.
No, and I'm tired, and I don't need to be cleaning up my room when I get home from a 5-day trip. Right. Yep. Yes, honey, I did. Thank you.
And thank you for that.
Yes. You're welcome.
Did you ask her where the bin was so you can put all those clothes back in it and put them wherever they need to go?
No, she gave it away.
The bin?
She gave it away. Yeah. Mark, this time of year, if it's not nailed down, it's given away. My wife gives away never mind every time I will say, thank God my wife does not go in the bank anymore. She just goes to the ATM, and I get an email every single time money is taken out via our debit card. And so I know all the money that she's taken out and given away because I get it on my phone. I can't afford to live, never mind leave town.
So we've been going through tragedy my daughter's teacher up and quit.
Yeah, you said that.
She was a mess yesterday. She was supposed to finish out the week. She never finished the week. She didn't show yesterday. Never said goodbye to the kids. I think she's a pile. I don't care what other job she took. I don't care what force. To do that to all those kids, that's, if you're an educator and that's your job, I just think that's such a crock of crap.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, my daughter will be fine. She's a smart kid. She'll adjust and be fine. But there's, there's another girl who's really broken up who.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour. Thanks so much for being with us, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Dalton Miller of Pro Football Network to join us 1 hour from now. Seth Everett in our 8 o'clock hour. Orlando Alzugaray 2 hours from now. We'll go forward with the Dolphins. And the Big O is always brutally honest and opinionated. So we'll get his take on the Fins a couple hours from now. We'll even talk a little association before the show is done. That's right. We're talking the association, or at least one team that's in it.
And you even heard of them. They're the Orlando Magic.
They're even in the state. So there. But until then, it's time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
There's a lot of news about the Dolphins, and I probably should lead with that. And by the way, number 1, the NFL. But Tom Curran of NBC Sports in Boston, who's actually a respected member of the media, he reported late last night that, Belichick's gone at the end of the year. Kraft made up his mind when they lost over in London, Germany, wherever it was they lost. And, he's done. And Curran kind of implied in the reporting that Bill knows. And, Tom Curran's not like Mike Florio. Like, nobody takes anything Mike Florio says seriously. Tom Curran's actually listened to in New England. So, Dolphins officially have lost starting center Connor Williams for the year with a torn ACL. They did re-sign linebacker Melvin Ingram to the practice squad. Ingram played with them last year, had 6 sacks. That's not going to help their gaping hole at center, but it's just some news. Dolphin safety Deshaun Elliott is in the concussion protocol. Toronto Armstead, according to Mike McDaniel, has a better chance of playing before Robert Hunt, if we're keeping track of the injuries on the Dolphins' offensive line. So that's not good news because Armstead hardly ever plays. So, hits just keep on coming, doesn't it, Dolphins? That's why you got to win the games you're supposed to win. Justin Herbert's out for the year. Surgery on his broken right index finger. So, we can move on in Los Angeles with the Chargers, right? Staley is gone, and, we'll see if Bill or somebody else replaces him. And, there's actually a decent amount of talent on that team that, heck, Mark, they may lose out. That'd be 5-12. I mean, that'll get them what? Top 7, 8 pick?
Certainly top 10. There's no doubt there. You're probably right where your number's at, David.
Yeah. So, the Chargers could really fortify things. That job could be even sexier for next year.
I mean, they're picking 10th right now, David.
Well, and I don't know how many more games they're going to win. So, I think you're talking a top 7 or 8 pick there for the Chargers. Vikings have turned into Nick Mullins. They're a playoff team, by the way. They've gone from Joshua Dobbs to Nick Mullins. Not that the NFC is weaker than the AFC or anything. Nothing to see here. So Nick Mullins taking on Jake Browning. Vikings-Bengals this weekend. And that's the other thing with Herbert's injury. That's another quarterback we've never heard of who's starting. How the hell are you guys in your fantasy leagues even finishing the season this year? at the quarterback position, honestly. Man, oh man.
It's a struggle.
Golly. It will be interesting to see if next year somebody will pick him up. Remember Matt Ariza? He was the punter at San Diego State a couple years ago. He was so good, his nickname was the Punt God. He was drafted in like the 5th round by the Bills. And then he was let go, even though when he was drafted, he had already been named as part of a sexual assault investigation in college. The Bills said they investigated. They had no problems in terms of his involvement or lack thereof in it, and they drafted him. But then they got him to camp, and the people made a big deal about it, and so the Bills caved, and they released him, and no one else has picked him up. He's had like one tryout in 2 years. Yeah, well, yesterday, I mean, the criminal charges were never filed. And any and all lawsuits against him were dropped, in which now everyone associated with this investigation has said, yeah, he wasn't even there. He had nothing to do with it. 2 years of his life and maybe his entire career ruined by this. Matt Ariza. Will an NFL team give him a chance and just treat him like they would all the other punting prospects next year? Or is this guy tarnished forever for something that he didn't do? NBC, by the way, has cut ties with Al Michaels. Now, they moved on from Al and went with Mike Tirico on Sunday Night Football last year. But remember, Al, when NBC had 2 playoff games one weekend, Al got the second playoff game with Dungy. It was the Jags-Chargers. Al, for the first time in his career, was roundly criticized. People thought he was boring and uninterested. Well, NBC's not giving him a second chance, even though apparently it's in his contract that they have to.
It was news to Al.
Yes.
That he's not doing a playoff game. Al's like, what do you mean I'm not doing a playoff game? It's in my contract.
Got it right here. So Noah Eagle and Todd Blackledge, NBC's Big Ten broadcast team, is going to get the second wild card game that NBC is doing. College football news, Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody, a proud lifelong Gator, but she is suing the College Football Playoff Committee because Florida State got the shaft. And even though it's the Noles, injustice is injustice everywhere. I mean,
I'm afraid I wanted to bang on the table really hard there because I felt it deserved a bang, but in this building, I'm afraid to hit anything too hard because the whole table could crumble.
You did hold back visibly. I heard it, but it could have been a lot more aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, if you pound the table too hard, the whole 8-track machine will go completely off the rails.
Exactly.
Canes quarterback Tyler Van Dyke officially is now Wisconsin quarterback Tyler Van Dyke. Duke quarterback Riley Leonard's now officially Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard. Hey, DJ Ukulele there. I know that's not how you pronounce his name, but just
man,
come on, it's not easy. Let me tell you something. There's a lot of vowels in that name, a lot of vowels. But the guy who started at Clemson and then went to Oregon State this past year, well, sure, he's in the transfer portal, and his first visit's going to be Tallahassee. He's visiting Florida State. And remember the Ohio State running back who scored the game-winning touchdown against Notre Dame when Notre Dame decided to defend the play with only 10 guys instead of 11, which you're allowed. Right. Chip Trayanum. He's from Ohio. He was probably going to be a captain on next year's Ohio State team. Yeah, he's transferring to Kentucky. Wow. Damn. Major League Baseball. It turns out that the Giants' offer for Ohtani was almost identical to the Dodgers' offer. That apparently Ohtani drew up what he wanted and they like passed it out to the teams that were interested and said, if you're interested, say yes. And apparently the Giants said yes, and he chose the Dodgers over the Giants. So the Giants settled for Korean League standout center fielder Young-Hoo Lee. They signed him to a 6-year deal worth $113 million. That's basically $19 a year. The Royals signed 2 free agent pitchers yesterday. Starter Seth Lugo got 3 for $45. Reliever Chris Stratton got 2 for $8. NBA. Celtics are unbeaten at home. They 120-113 over Cleveland. They're 11-0. Dallas. Luka Doncic with 33. Mavs get by the Lakers 127-125 despite 37 from AD. Jokic ejected. He cursed at an official. They just ejected him immediately. Not a technical. Nope, you're out of here. On Serbian Heritage Night in Chicago. Nuggets beat the Bulls anyway, 114-106. Draymond ejected. Devin Booker with 32. Phoenix over Golden State, 119-116. And the Clippers 20 better than Sacramento, 119-99. College hoops. Mark, you know that bad beat you took on Army-Navy? Well, you got one back last night. South Florida was a 17.5-point favorite over Arkansas Pine Bluff. They beat them by 18, 104-86. Bulls are 4-4. Georgia Southern lost to Tennessee. They were expected to, but Georgia Southern's 0-10 for the record. They play FGCU next week. No pressure on the Eagles or anything. Women's basketball, Bethune won, and Caitlin Clark got an endorsement deal with Gatorade. Not that she's a big deal or anything, just Gatorade. NHL.
I wonder if she's going to keep, sorry, David, but I wonder how her endorsements will be when she goes to the WNBA.
Well, in theory, if you're signing her, don't you envision that, for more than just this year, right?
We'll see. I don't know, David. Women's college basketball more popular than the WNBA.
Well, maybe she'll help elevate the league's popularity too.
That's what I'm wondering.
Brock Beazer with a hat trick. Vancouver over the Lightning 4-1. The Kraken snap an 8-game losing streak, 4-0 over the Panthers. Leafs with 3 in the third beat the Rangers 7-3. Detroit with 3 in the third beat St. Louis 6-4. And then the Blues fired their head coach, Craig Berube, after the game.
Yeah, they took that loss hard in St. Louis.
Wow. Neither team plays defense, by the way. I watched a good chunk of that game. Edmonton's won 8 in a row after a coaching change. They beat Chicago 4-1. Connor Bedard did score for the Hawks. Connor McDavid with 2 assists for the Oilers. And speaking of hockey and hoops, Ted Leonsis. He owns the Caps and the Wizards. He apparently wants out of D.C. He's going to hold a presser today with the governor of Virginia and Alexandria, Virginia, which is just over the line there. And, he wants to move the Caps and the Wizards to Virginia. Virginia doesn't have gambling, though. And Leonsis was like the first to take the arena he was playing in and turn it into like a big gambling place. So I find that interesting. Don't you think as part of the negotiations, Leonsis said to the governor, so we're going to do gambling?
I would think so, but it shows you how much having more rights to your building, because they don't own the building in D.C. And that's...
So they can get out of their lease in 2027. They think construction will begin in a year or so and be ready for 2028 in Alexandria, Virginia. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting Five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Fired Berube. He's the guy who took over and led him to the cup.
What have you done for me lately, I guess?
You know how many times they won the cup in St. Louis? Yeah, that exactly. That many. So that was a big firing last night. Your Wings did that. So if they had held on to the 4-3 lead, do we think he's keeping the job? Probably
No.
not. No.
No.
And that's always awkward too. Okay, wait a minute. We won and I'm fired? Wait. We won. I thought you were congratulating me on the win. No, you're fired.
You're fired. Hockey loves to fire a coach. I mean, that is really the sport in which they have no problem going through as many coaches as humanly possible.
Miller and Moulton. But there's something that we mentioned during the starting five, and by we, I mean me, that we will pick up on the other side. Could this be the future of sports, or at least one part of it? We'll ask you, and we'll explain next. Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us as we get over the hump together on the Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Let's get over it together, shall we? Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. By the way, Steve in our Twitch chat room, Mark, brings up an interesting point. A little item that we had last segment, which was Caitlin Clark, and she now has a deal with Gatorade. Steve said, can't Clark stay for one more pandemic year?
Yep. And I have a lot of friends that are Iowa people, and they all think the same thing.
Because the WNBA does not pay well. I mean, I don't think there's a single player in the league making $200,000. And we all know she's making a lot more than that at Iowa.
There's 2 commas now. I mean, she's in the millions.
Yeah. And so if you're Caitlin Clark, I mean, forget who it is who has the number 1 pick, whether or not you want to play for the Indiana Fever or not. I mean, is it just a matter of, well, hell, I'm going to play here because I can make 8 to 10 times the amount of money. Why wouldn't I stay here? I will say, I think it'd be great. I mean, I think it would be awesome, actually, for women's athletes to forego going pro because they can make more money in NIL in college.
I don't think, however, for people who think that will happen with a Caleb Williams or another NFL player, it's not going to happen.
No,
because the whole object is to get to that second contract. And even though your first contract, you're locked in what you're going to make, you're trying to get to that second deal as quickly as is humanly possible.
Also, Drake May and what have you, he's going to make $4 or $5 million that first year. I mean, they sign a 4 or 5 year deal that's worth between $4 and $5 million a year. I mean, I don't think he's making that at North Carolina. I think he's making a couple million, but I don't think he's making what he's going to be making as a rookie in the NFL. Never mind what Mark said, which is you got to get to that second contract, man. That's the retirement money for not just you, but your kids and your grandkids.
Do you want the NIL to come completely above board where just like pro athletes, we know what these college athletes are making? It's not transparent right now. We have no clue. We see numbers that I don't necessarily believe. You talk to Bud Elliott, he's got one set of numbers that he believes. You see things out there, and they're a lot higher than the people that I trust who are telling me what they believe the numbers are. Do you want to know?
No. I don't, for this reason. Because I think it's already hurting the sport with certain fans, the professionalization of it. And I think that also, let's face it, we're jealous of people who make that kind of money. Our animosity, we save our venom as fans for the professional athlete. And even though we know the college athlete is being paid now, we don't know exactly how much. We assume it's not as much as the professional athlete. And we still kind of give, well, they're younger. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to screw up. We just kind of have to live with that. We don't live with it with the professional athlete. Kadarius Toney's a bum. He doesn't know how to line up properly. Well, hell, he did stupid stuff in Florida. But we kind of let it go. I don't, Mark. For that reason, but I was listening to what I thought was a fairly intelligent conversation yesterday, and it was actually on ESPN radio, which is shocking. But Mike Greenberg and Jay Williams were talking about where are we going with this? And they didn't say this, but as they're talking, I'm like, we're going to have to make them employees. Because the only way that I think this doesn't stay the wild, wild west forever is to professionalize them, but also, Mark, negotiate a cap. You can do that once you make them employees. You've got a lot more rights once they're an employee. Once they have to go form a union and then we negotiate, and come on. I mean, that to me is where I think this has to go.
So then instead of the transfer portal, there'll be trades? You can fire an employee. Well, David, I'm merely asking questions. You're bringing up things. I'm bringing up problems that I see with your.
Oh no, Mark, there's not a solution that doesn't have problems. There isn't. This is a mess.
And whose salary cap will be higher, the Big Tens or the SECs?
Well, that's the other thing. Obviously, you'd have to get the Big Ten and the SEC to agree on the number. And this is funny because you think nobody cheats like the SEC, but nobody has more money than the Big Ten. So that's where the one can look at the other and go, yeah, we have to agree on. What's the number? What's the number? Now, do we really trust that certain schools are going to be, I mean, they have these caps in other leagues and sports, and we find out that teams go way over them.
And then it truly will be like the old Niners team. It'll be the facilities. Who's got the best towels? How can we take care of these guys? Give me another waterfall.
Exactly. You'll want to come here. Why? We have Mr. DeBartolo. Nobody treats you like Mr. DeBartolo. Mr. D, as Joe Montana called them. So, but that's where I wonder if we're going with all this. If you want to rein this in, well, there's a way to rein it in. You got to go down the road that you said you would never go down. Because then also now we get into the point of, well, if they're employees, do they count against the scholarship limit? So then that's the whole Title IX. Is this for athletic departments a way to go, oh, so you mean to tell me we don't have to account for these 85 scholarships?
What scholarships? They're employees.
Right. Huh. Okay. But then again, is part of the employee contract, do they have to go to class? Or are they just here to work? I mean, it's a mess. It is. And we knew 3-4 years ago when this was on the verge of happening going through the courts. You and I were in our second act together, and we said this is going to be far messier than most think it will be. We're in favor of it. We just think that the athlete deserves a lot more than they've been getting. But it will be a show. And it is.
And people want to put blame and they want to get on the athlete. This is all on the NCAA. 100%. They could have fixed this a long time ago. They were the ones that stuck their heads in the sand and said, oh, the government's going to take care of us.
Well, first, they never thought they were going to lose in court. They were just going to be able to say, no, the system is the system. No, it's fair. Why? Because we say it is. There's nothing wrong here. Yes, the coaches can make millions. Yes, the conferences can make hundreds of millions. The athlete, yeah, he gets to go to class, but it's paid for. Yeah. No, that's not going to fly. Not in this country. It's not. Other countries, it would have held up forever. It's not going to fly here. So we thought eventually they'd start losing. Hell, I can't believe that the NFL is still able to get away with setting the rule you have to be 3 years removed from high school before you can be in the draft. I can't believe somebody hasn't gone to court and won that one either. But that's a whole other issue. So, Mark, I mean, you tell me the solution. I think, and it will be messy and have its own set of problems. I actually think, tell you what, let's go to the end game right now. Let's make them employees. And by the way, form a union. We're negotiating a cap. Let's go.
And think of how the universities will win at this, because these players are there for 4 years. Their union won't have the power of other unions.
You're right. And think about it. Well, we make every contract non-guaranteed. Every single one. Think about all the issues we deal with in professional sports. Oh, colleges can turn around. You want to get the power back, make them employees. That's how you get the power back.
And you take it away from the boosters because everything's then in-house. So there's not a collective that you have to worry about, that the coach has to answer to. The coach knows exactly what his budget is for the football team for the year.
Right. Now, if so-and-so's handled their cap better, yeah, the kid can go make $1.25 over there, and he can only make $8.50 going over here. Yeah, okay. Yeah. What do you think we have now? It's free agency now.
And what would this actually do? If you play this out, here's the other positive, David. There are a lot of negatives. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of negatives. But for schools 7 through 19 or 20 or 24 in the Big Ten, who really are left without a shot, well, now there's a cap. Now you've become the NFL, where theoretically you're going to have the same shot at the player as the big boy school.
Now, what do we have in these professional leagues? We have one central voice of power. We have a commissioner. And even if they work for the teams and the owners and what have you, there's a central, with one team in the professional league circumvents the rules, the commissioner can come down pretty hard on them, and the other owners will have the commissioner's back. That, to me, is the one part of this that will be missing. Like, let's pick the team in the Big Ten that circumvents the salary cap that we put together.
Ohio State.
You think Tony Petitti's going to come down on them hard? Remember, in these leagues, we take away draft picks and we find them. Okay, we'd have to come up with, some form of punishment here that's fitting. I would think it would be making them ineligible to compete in the playoff. That's a pretty big penalty. But anyway, that's where, when they were talking about the end game, what's the end game? I'm thinking, I really believe we got to make them employees. I could be completely off base in the idiotic thing, but that's where I'm at. Mark, it doesn't look like you're with me, but it looks like it's not awful.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I don't know how I feel like I've neglected my son as a parent, because yesterday he sent me a TikTok video of Prince playing While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and he had never seen it before, and I don't know
Wow.
why.
It's a great video.
Best part of it, and I don't know if you're aware of it, that Harrison's kid's playing on that too.
Oh, yeah.
And his look
he's
of
in
astonishment of Prince is my favorite part of the whole thing.
I didn't know that. And my musician buddy pointed that out to me. And that is the best part. You're right.
My TikTok now has gotten where it's completely music. That all on my TikTok feed
algorithm?
that's all it is.
That's good.
I've liked enough stuff now. I don't get sports.
Yeah.
I don't get young girls scantily clad. Thank God. I'm kind of, I'm good. If I need that, I know where to find it. But when I first got on TikTok, it seemed like every seventh video was some woman in her bra.
I do not have one.
A TikTok?
Yeah, I see them everywhere else. I see they get posted everywhere.
Yeah, I just like, but now that I've gotten, it's just one SNL, like live show.
Video.
Watched Peter Gabriel do "In Your Eyes" yesterday, and saw this morning. My wife's like, "What are you listening to?" It's George Harrison and Paul Simon.
That's pretty good because that's like your escape.
Yeah,
you get enough sports, so if you want to go to TikTok for the music. Breakfast bar time, David.
I know you had set up something for that segment, so I don't know if you want to do that here or you want to save that. You had something you wanted to talk about, and I know that wasn't it. You had teased something from the starting five.
Just a little thing.
That's fine. We can do it here.
Because then the show's pretty much done anyway.
Right. That's
unless you got something, but I got a little something.
No, I was I'll finish with, because you kind of led me to a question, so I'll answer that to start, and then we'll get to your thing.
Okay.
I'm glad we're talking Magic because I could use a team to root for this year.
The problem is that you don't get to. Well, it doesn't matter. You don't have cable, but you don't get the Magic here, which stinks.
They're blacked out.
Yeah, you get the Panthers. You get, like, when you have regular cable, you get the Panthers and Lightning. At least I did where I lived. I got the Heat, but no Magic. When they're on, they black them out.
That is so ridiculous.
I get them.
But you don't get the Heat, probably, do you?
I get them both.
Oh, do you?
I have cable and I get both channels.
No. I mean, when I had cable, I had both channels. But when the Magic were on, it was blacked out. You did not see Magic games in this.
I'm lucky. So I get, like, if Lightning and Panthers are both playing, I get them both.
And I don't get the Panthers now that I'm just with ESPN Plus. I get nothing Miami. It really is. I got to figure out a way to watch the Heat.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour, a little more than 15 minutes time. Dalton Miller from Pro Football Network will join us once again. Seth Everett, top of the hour, his weekly appearance. We're going to talk some association, one of the best teams in sports that you're not paying attention to, the Orlando Magic. Jake Chapman's their radio voice. He'll join us. And we'll head to Miami. The loudest voice on Miami sports. I would argue the best. Orlando Alzugaray. The Big O will join us as we're picking up the pieces from the Dolphins' awful loss to the Titans.
You asked as we were going to break if I agreed with you. So it doesn't look like I agree with you when it comes to how we were talking about college athletes becoming employees.
Right.
I don't know if I agree with you, but David, I cannot think of a better system. That's a better system than what we have now.
That's if we want to fix what we have now. I mean, can't we just... I'm not a rancher, Mark. I mean, this just in.
You're not a rancher?
I know. It's important as you get older to, know your limitations and admit your faults and know your strengths from your weaknesses.
I didn't think you were a ranch dressing guy. I knew you weren't a rancher.
I do prefer it to sour cream, though. But here's what I'm envisioning that college sports is right now. You know how you're out on the ranch or the farm and you got the horses running around?
I'm just going to act like I know what you're talking about as a rancher. Yeah, David, the horses all going around.
Thank you. Just play along with
it
at home. Thanks. And eventually, though, and some horses, it's like, where's he going? Okay. But eventually, what happens? You kind of, the land's big enough and they don't leave the land. They don't leave the reservation. They stay on your property. And eventually you track them down and you bring them back. And it may take a while.
Are you sure you're not a rancher?
And that's kind of how what I feel college athletics is right now. We bought a new piece of property, Mark. That's what this is. We had a small ranch. Now we're going NIL. We got a big ranch. We moved to Montana. We moved the corporate offices from Indianapolis to Billings.
This is Yellowstone.
Right.
Wow.
And
might be moving to Montana soon, huh?
Well,
raising up some of that dental floss. You and Frank Zappa.
I'm on my way. Just making my way up the, 75, 95. Eventually I'll get to 94 and 80 and what have you. So that's kind of what I envision right now. We're in Montana. And the horses when we let them loose, damn, it's just going to be a while to track them down and bring them back. We will. But, man, this is a problem. It was so much easier when we were in Indianapolis. A lot more pavement. Okay, it was a small thing. It's like remember when they tore down the Boston Garden for the Fleet Center? And it's like, what's it, 4,000 more seats, regulation size ice? What the hell?
We need a fence, is what you're saying, is we need a fence.
That's right. Or do we? Do we just say, you know what? College sports,
let them
what
roam?
is it? It's Montana. Right. Eventually we track them down, we bring them back. I don't know. I'm trying to, find a state in the middle. I'm trying to, I don't know, Illinois, Nebraska. I'm trying to come up with something, you know me and my love for the Dakotas. I'm trying to, at least South Dakota. Let's rein it back in.
Just a pinch between your cheek and gums and pure tobacco pleasure.
Tobacco pleasure. The late Walt Garrison.
Wow. Ranching.
Didn't have that on my bingo
No.
card for today or any day.
Listen, I got to be honest. I didn't have it on mine either. Been doing this a long time, Trent. First talked into a microphone in 1985. Never gone ranching before. On TV or radio. Not even in a newspaper analogy, come to think of it.
Hey, it worked.
And I spent 5 years in North Dakota and never talked ranching.
Have you ever been on a ranch?
Yes. Hell, I cow tipped. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I've been on a ranch. Yep. I've ridden a horse. I've cow tipped. Yep. I've stepped in you know what. I've milked a cow.
What?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
No, not sure.
Well, you're 5 years out in North Dakota. You got to see the sights. And trust me, after about 3 hours, you've seen all the sights. So now you got to go to the ranch.
You've milked a cow?
Yes. Not well, by the way. Not well.
How do you know you don't do it well?
Well, because the cow lets you know. Cow kind of looks over its shoulder like, you dumbass.
The cow starts to roam a little bit on the ranch. It leaves
The cow looks back kind of like, could we get the A team back here? How about the B team even? Who's this call up? Yeah.
I'm learning a lot. David's a rancher that's milked a cow. I did not know that. I've known you a long time.
I didn't say I was a rancher.
I did.
Right. And talk about false advertising right there, man. I don't think we could come up with a disclaimer that would make that statement true, but all right.
You know what? We got to clean this up. It's time for our Molly Maid play of the day.
Oh, good. Trent, is there something on a ranch you could play for us?
I think we're getting about as far away as possible because we're going to Vegas, baby. T-Mobile Arena. The NHL's best Golden Knights are hosting the Calgary Flames, who are threatening to give the Knights their 6th loss of the season. But with 1:11 remaining in overtime, Mark Stone said, yeah, we're not doing this today.
Flames are 3-0 in the overtime. Eichel with a steal here. Beats it up ahead. Stone with a step. Scores! Mark Stone, the overtime winner. His 4th point of the night. And the Golden Knights in overtime win it 5-4.
Stone with 2 goals, 2 assists as the Knights win 5-4, move 25-5 on the season. They have the NHL's best by a mile, 45 points. Nobody else has more than 39. And if you want to see the best team in hockey here in Florida, next week, December 21st at Tampa, then December 23rd at the Panthers. So they're coming to your state. And there's your play of the day. Presented by Molly Maid.
Is it the best expansion team ever?
It's got to be.
Has anybody accomplished in such a short time what the Vegas Golden Knights have?
Plus, they've made the playoffs every year but one, right? 6 years. They've gone to 2 finals, won a cup, and I think they've gone to 4 conference finals.
Yeah,
it's remarkable what they've done. I mean, the
look at-
Dolphins were pretty amazing, actually. You know, they were like 2 years into their thing, and they brought in Shula, and he made them winners right away. I mean, the Dolphins' infancy was remarkable.
But what else are they competing with in the other sports, you know?
Well, I'll say this, you know, I mean, in the NFL, they had the famous Jacksonville and Carolina both made the conference title game their second year, but Jacksonville kept it up. Carolina, that was kind of a quick flash, and then they went away for a little bit, a few years. But Jacksonville, Mark, conference championship game in 96, conference championship game in 99, lost in the division round in 98. I mean, you know, Coughlin had them their first 5-6 years, you know, they were right there.
That's why I asked you. I knew you'd be able to provide me some instant answers, but I still think Vegas is better than Jacksonville with what you described. You know, if Jacksonville would have won one of those conference championships, then you may have something, but it's remarkable.
Yeah. And not
It really
only that,
makes these franchises that can't win, they have 30 years of spinning the wheels. It really makes them look silly if you really think about it.
Trent, you know any teams like that? you root for?
Oh, do I ever?
Any teams like that?
Do I ever?
Well, you know, came after me with ranching. I can always come back at you with Detroit.
That's
I
fair.
mean,
You can.
yep.
Miller and Moulton bringing high heat today.
Dalton Miller
next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Coming at us high and hard today in the Twitch chat room. Ambient, the Avs were not an expansion team. The Nordics had been around for 15 years. Okay, when they moved to Colorado. They just relocated. They weren't an expansion team. So it doesn't apply. Great line, J. Paul. Like to see David ranching on his palatial estate.
Maybe if things go well, we can get a Montana ranch and do the summer shows from the ranch.
Totally.
4 a.m. 4 to 7 Mountain.
The Mountain Sports Network.
I could do Mountain Time.
Yeah, Mountain Time's the best.
It's the single best time zone to watch sports.
I didn't know Mountain Time was a thing till about 2 years ago.
It's an American education system.
Yeah, like, seriously, I was failed.
Greetings, pleasant journeys.
From Bali, huh?
The Highlands. Are there lowlands? Yeah, there's no doubt, Guillermo. We'd go cow tipping, cow milking, and then we'd do the show. Well, Adam, right now they'd host the Browns in the 4-5 game. Hello, Dandy. not only have they managed the roster well, Finn's Brett, they've made major moves. They haven't hesitated to fire multiple coaches. They've made the big free agent signings, the big trades, rolled the dice on Eichel. Have not been able to track down the Florida Blue guy yet. It really does look like me.
It's because it's you.
Teams who've won it after relocating. I mean, the Nats after leaving Montreal. Let's see. The Lakers after leaving Minneapolis. The Warriors after leaving Philadelphia. Hell, the Warriors after leaving Oakland. Yeah, the Ravens. Hello.
Watched Bye Bye Barry yesterday.
What'd you think?
It's good. I mean, it's great to see the highlights.
Is the reason he left any different than what we thought?
He was just done.
He was just done. Didn't care. So you don't really learn anything.
No.
It's just entertaining. Very well done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I needed Tim Allen and Jeff Daniels to tell me about Barry Sanders.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes before the hour. Seth Everett's weekly visits at the top of the hour. Orlando Alzugaray picking up the pieces from the Dolphins' crushing defeat. Or will it be just a blip on the old radar screen? We'll talk to the Big O 1 hour from now. Dalton Miller, Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Dalton, the letter B Miller, Dalton B Miller. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you two gentlemen doing?
Well, if I throw it in underhanded, do you think that's going to turn out to be a crushing loss for the Dolphins or a blip on the radar screen?
You know, it's really interesting. I think it's kind of just a blip for them. But if they can't get that offensive line sorted out, they could have some legitimate issues down the line, because as quickly as Tua gets the ball out on most occasions, if Hill is not 100%, they're not going to be able to get the ball out as quickly. He's going to have to hold it a little bit longer, let things develop, and that's going to be bad news for them. But Baltimore, as good, as talented as they are, I think, with their schedule, which is the toughest remaining in the NFL, and just kind of the way that they can kind of give away games late, I think that Miami still has a good shot to get the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Boy, with that offensive line, it is going to be difficult. And the Dolphins have the Jets, Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills remaining on their schedule. So certainly no easy games other than really the Jets right now for Miami left ahead. The method to beat Miami is obviously get to Tua. When teams have been able to put them down 3 times or more, they've beaten them. When you look at what's left for the Dolphins, don't you see a little more of that, though, Dalton?
Yeah, I mean, you might see it a little bit more. For me, it all comes down to the health of Tyreek Hill. If Hill is healthy, I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. I think the biggest issue that they had in this past game was that Hill got banged up pretty early on in it. Obviously, he came back in the second half, but he wasn't really himself. He needs to be 100% himself because this offense is so timing-based, and the rapport between Tua and Hill is so good over the middle. He's able to just kind of throw passes up in the throwing windows and let Hill get to it. And that's kind of what has made this offense so dangerous over the middle of the field. It's his ball placement and the anticipation on those spot throws. And when it's not him in the game, Waddle can do an okay job, but you still need that second option that is normally Waddle. And they just don't really have that in the offense. So then he has to hold the ball a little bit longer. He's not really athletic enough to go and create on his own. He doesn't really have the arm to do that either. So for me, it's if he can't get a healthy Tyreek Hill, then yeah, they could be in legitimate trouble.
When you look at the Bengals with Jake Browning, are they now a contender again? I mean, let's face it, that roster, this was supposed to be their year. They got a ton of free agents after this year. This is arguably the best Bengals roster since the Ken Anderson, Anthony Munoz teams of the 80s, I could argue. Are they still a contender or not having Joe Burrow? No.
It's so weird because when they had Joe Burrow, the offense didn't look like it was firing on all cylinders until he really got healthy. Then it looked good, but the defense hasn't been as good as you expect it to be this season. And so I'm still kind of waiting to see if they're going to completely turn it around defensively. I think that they can do enough on offense to make the job easy on Jake Browning. There's a lot of throws around the line of scrimmage, and you have somebody like Jamar Chase, who is absolutely outstanding with the ball in his hands, a lot like somebody like Deebo Samuel in San Francisco, who, you know, if things aren't going well in the traditional drop back game, you can kind of just spam that Deebo button or spam that Jamar Chase button, give him manufactured touches and let him do his work. But I've been really impressed with Jake Browning in the regular drop back game, his ability to make those spot throws, his ability to trust his wide receivers to go up and get the football as well. You know, it's a Jake Browning that I did not see at the University of Washington, and he put up a ton of numbers, but he wasn't really an NFL quarterback back then. And I just think that he's somebody who in the shadows has put in the work to become somebody who can be a legitimate backup option. And with the talent that is on this roster, absolutely they could go and make a run, but they need their defense to really step up like they did during their Super Bowl run.
Speaking of making a run, can the Bills do it? They've got the Cowboys this week. If they can beat Dallas, then I think they're playing Miami for the division at the end of the season. But the big part of this is getting by Dallas. What do you think about Buffalo making a run right now?
Absolutely. They need to get by Dallas. And with the way that the Cowboys are playing right now, it's going to be a slugfest. I think Buffalo is going to have to go out and score a bunch of points. But it's going to be a lot of fun. If they can beat Dallas, you know, if they can get to 8-6, I do think that they have a legitimate chance, because when you look at point differential, I think that they're second behind Dallas on the season. They beat teams pretty badly when they beat them for the most part. I just think that, you know, we've seen them lose to a bunch of good teams. And I think Kansas City right now is just kind of not playing very good football, especially offensively. So I do think that it all comes down to this game against Dallas and what they're able to show.
He's Dalton Miller, Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X, at Dalton, the letter B, Miller, Dalton B. Miller. You follow the Cowboys closely. You do a Cowboys podcast. What's different? I mean, if you think about it, the running game, I could argue, is not as good as in years past. When they lost to the Niners, we were saying, man, the offense looks like it's, you know, out of 2005. There's no motion. They're easy to defend pre-snap. What's changed?
Exactly that. They got into the bye week and they finally started listening to all the voices that were on the outside of the building saying, hey, you know, that cheat motion that Miami does, that's pretty fun and it's working. And so they started using motion at the snap of the ball. They started using pre-snap motion, using formations a little bit better. And at the end of the day, I just think Dak Prescott got hot. You know, he is playing at a level that I haven't seen him even get close to touching since 2019, especially when it comes to the creative ability. He hasn't really used his legs very often since he broke his ankle, and you're seeing him really get outside of the pocket, make throws, trust his guys. I think that Jake Ferguson at tight end just keeps coming along. And I think that Brandon Cooks, they finally kind of figured out that, hey, this guy who's had 1,000-yard seasons at 4 different spots is still pretty good at football, and maybe we should use him a little bit more than Michael Gallup. And so they've just kind of started to play smarter football offensively, and it's been paying dividends.
Is Dak the MVP of the league right now?
I think it's pretty tough to argue, and I know that Brock Purdy is having a fantastic season, but when you look at that offense and what it brings, and then when you look at the 3 games that he played without Deebo Samuel and without Trent Williams, I think that that's a pretty good argument against him as well. Now, I do think that Purdy brings more to that offense than Jimmy Garoppolo ever did, but then you still have that kind of held over his head as well, because Jimmy put up the second best EPA per play numbers in the NFL from 2018 to 2022. Only Patrick Mahomes was better. Not Josh Allen, not Joe Burrow. None of those guys were able to outproduce Jimmy Garoppolo. When Jimmy went somewhere else this year and got benched, he was so bad. That's how good of a situation it is to play quarterback in San Francisco. You don't have that same thing going on in Dallas. Like you said earlier, the run game isn't the reason why they're winning football games. Right tackle is a complete liability in pass protection right now. They have good weapons on the outside, but I think Dak is elevating this team in a way that Brock Purdy is just driving the bus. Even though I think he's an advanced bus driver, I think he's still more of a bus driver.
With what's going on in Kansas City and Philadelphia, is this fixable, or are they just different teams than they were when they played in the Super Bowl last year? We have been arguing, Dalton, for whatever Miller and Moulton's points are worth, that Kansas City just doesn't have enough weapons outside of Kelsey. The wide receiving core could be the worst in the league, and they're not going to be able to overcome this. But now Philly's got issues. Are the Kansas City and Philadelphia issues fixable, or are they basically stuck?
It's hard for me to completely count out Patrick Mahomes because I think he's the best player on the planet, but it's pretty obvious at this point that even he can't do enough with this roster offensively. And, you know, they've really pushed the limits the past couple of seasons with the wide receiving core and you know, who they have on that side of the ball, and they've been able to get away with it. And it's just gotten to a point where guys just simply aren't trustworthy. And it's not just lining up off sides. When with the game on the line, it's the mental errors. It's the, I believe, league-leading drop numbers. It's a pretty pathetic product offensively from them, and that's with, you know, the best quarterback on the planet and the best or the second best offensive mind in the NFL with the best tight end in the NFL. It just shows that this is about 11 guys, and 2 guys, 3 guys is not going to be able to overcome 7 or 8 other issues that you have on the offense. I mean, offensive tackle isn't a good situation in Kansas City either. And when you look at Philadelphia, I think that offense could be fine, but that defense has been a liability all year. You know, even against some of the lesser opponents that they've played, they've had some pretty bad games, and their offense has been able to overcome it. And we've gotten to a point with them where, you know, Howie likes to ignore linebacker and never really cared very much about safety. Well, they traded for Kevin Byard, but that's not really working out. The spine of that defense is not very good, and that's what's really showing up for them defensively, on top of having 2 corners who are over 30 years old and James Bradbury getting cooked on every other drop back. So it's not fixable for them either. And I really think that you're looking at San Francisco and Dallas in the NFC, and you're looking at Miami, maybe Buffalo, Baltimore, and I think the real dark horse is Cleveland in all of this.
Their line's banged up as well. What is it that you don't trust about Baltimore? I mean, you mentioned them there as a contender, but it was kind of hesitant. In your first answer about Miami, you kind of alluded that, you know, Baltimore's given some games away. What is it about Baltimore that you don't trust?
It's just late in games. They seem to make these weird decisions. They seem to allow teams that are lesser opponents to stay with them a little bit. And, you know, I think Lamar Jackson, for as outstanding as he is, as unbelievable an athlete as he is, and how great of a passer he is, especially for what he's given credit for, he's still a heart attack every single time he drops back to pass because he likes to hold on to the ball. He likes to, kind of, flaunt the ball and not really take great care of it, not keep two hands on it because he's going out and he's trying to make plays. And he fumbles the ball a lot in the pocket. And I just think that team is one that just makes weird mistakes when it matters. And it's weird because I think John Harbaugh is a great coach, but there's always been something with them on top of the fact that they just can't seem to stay healthy. And so for me, it's just hard to trust this Baltimore Ravens team from what I've seen the last couple of seasons, on top of Lamar not being able to stay healthy down the stretch in the past 2 seasons either. So that's kind of where I stand with them. Even though I picked them to be in the AFC Championship game to start the year with Kansas City, there's always something with Baltimore that just makes me not be able to trust them.
He's Dalton Miller, Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com. Follow him on Twitter/X at Dalton, the letter B Miller, Dalton B Miller. Dalton, always appreciate your time and insight. All the best.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Dalton Miller, kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton. To go back to the Chiefs receivers, read a fascinating little tidbit stat before the show. The receivers drop percentage in Kansas City is 8%. It's not only the highest in the league, it's the highest in the league by 3 full percentage points. It's also apparently the highest drop percentage since they've been keeping the stat officially. No other team's ever had a drop percentage higher than 7%. I mean, you really can't argue that Patrick Mahomes is throwing to the worst receiving core in the league. It's probably technically not, but that's how bad it is. A, it's below average, and B, they drop more passes than anybody else. Besides that, Mark, what do you think of the Chiefs receivers?
Wow. And they can't line up on side.
Well, then there's that.
That's a devastatingly awful stat.
Yeah. And also, this isn't mid-October. I mean,
no,
we're 13 games into this. Basically, by now, you are what you've shown you are, right? So, unless some team's just going to cut somebody because they're tired of putting up with them and you're going to be able to claim them. It's kind of like the Dolphins looking at their options at center. Yeah, there's 7-8 guys sitting on their couch. But, in most cases, there's a reason they're sitting on their couch. Then again, Joe Flacco 3 weeks ago was sitting on his couch and hell.
Yeah, but a whole lot different. You trying to put someone on the line. It really is, David. He's handing the ball off, making plays. That's a different element being a lineman. Seth Everett. He is next. He's in the On Deck Circle on Miller and Moulton.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here.
Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Life Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlifetransportation.com.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Seth, good morning.
Good morning. I have already thought of 3 great uses for this shirt. First was this Joe.
Hold on. Did you take in the shirt, Mark?
I did. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
The first was this show. The next time will be the game day. I'll be the only person in New Jersey with this. But then 3 days later, I'm going to Boca Raton. So I'll wear it again, and people will be like, "Oh, were you there?" And I'll be like, "No."
Do you really think?
I don't think anybody will say that.
Yeah, that's our bet.
My over-under's on a half, and I've got the under.
Yep. I'm with Mark.
Somebody at the
David,
airport.
I will say
The airport flying to Florida. Oh, that'll be perfect.
The one thing I did learn is they had Fonts and Barry Sanders on the sidelines, in the past year or whatever. And Fonts tells Barry Sanders that Montana called him and said he wanted to come play there. And Fonts went to the GM, and the GM said he's too old, and he went to Kansas City. And then he said, I wanted Warren Moon, and the GM said he's too old.
And he went to Minnesota.
Yeah. That little, and it was no more than 4 minutes of the documentary. That's when I learned something, and I went,
the Barry?
The Bye Barry, yeah.
I saw a documentary that has nothing to do with sports. The Milli Vanilli. You guys know who they are?
Jesus, who do you think we are, for goodness sakes? Do we not know who Milli Vanilli
Milli
is?
Vanilli.
Yeah, of course we know. Trent may not know who they are.
They got screwed.
Yeah, whatever.
You going to the Devils tonight?
Going? I don't think so.
Big one.
There's a big science test in this house that we have to get ready for.
Gotcha.
So
I don't know how you're going to get any work done tonight. Game's on TNT and everything.
Well, just to make me angry, it is blacked out in New York, so it can be on MSG and the worst app ever created. So knowing that the game is on TNT and that the whole country will enjoy the ease of TNT.
And by whole country, we mean about 453,000 people.
Yeah, well, what are you trying to say?
Well, I'm trying to say it's the NHL, and it, doesn't
but
draw what we all wish it would.
This nonsense with the with that blackout. Oh God, I hate that.
Well, fortunately, after you're done studying for the test, 10 o'clock, you can watch Buffalo and Colorado on TNT. That
We
won't be
could,
blacked
yeah.
out.
The blackout will be lifted.
Right.
Yes. It's
Look
good
at
to know.
bad golfer. Millie Vanilli. Isn't that the Miami Dolphins? Look at that.
Millie Vanilli.
Coming in hard there. Come on, Deep Corning. They're professional receivers. Catch the ball. He doesn't throw the hardest ball in the league. Josh Allen throws it harder.
Here we go.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it's our third and final hour along the network of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. We're getting over it together. The Diamond District bonus hour is 1 hour away. The Big O, Orlando Alzugaray, will join us in 35 or so minutes. We'll talk about the Dolphins and where do they go from here. The radio voice of the Orlando Magic, Jake Chapman, to join us in 20 minutes' time. But right now, we strongly encourage you, if you've never done it before, to go to twitch.tv/Miller and Moulton, because Seth Everett is wearing something that I don't know if there's another person in America who owns one and is proudly wearing one, even in the Tampa area. It is a Boca Raton Bowl t-shirt, South Florida and Syracuse.
It's the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl.
What is
The
that?
what?
Is that-
The
I don't-
roofclaim.com?
What is roofclaim.com?
Well, you brought it up. We don't know it. Is this
I don't
a
know.
bail bondsman? What is this?
I'm
But
sure.
that's what it says, roofclaim.com.
I understand. It says Boca Raton Bowl. It's got the South Florida helmet. It's got the Syracuse helmet on each side of the goalpost in the middle.
I'm gonna go to roofclaim.com after this.
Mark, what is roofclaim.com?
It's a roofing. It looks like it's a roofing company.
Huh.
They provide roof inspections, roof repair, and roof replacement.
Oh.
They sponsor a bowl game.
Wow.
What is this?
We
A
have the-
small business bowl game?
Well, yes, it is. It's Syracuse in South Florida. So it is a small business bowl game. There's no doubt there. And we have these things called hurricanes. So roof claims are kind of a big deal in the state of Florida.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of hurricanes, they're playing at Yankee Stadium against Rutgers. It's another big barn
Big
burner.
one. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it is big. Hey, you've got family in Boca. You going to go?
No, we're going. We're going for the week between Christmas and New Year's, but we're leaving 2 days later. So we're missing the game by 2 days. I could take the kids out of school for that, but considering in February I'm going to be taking them out of school for Devils games, I'm not taking them out of school for the Boca Raton Bowl.
You're taking your kids out of school for hockey games. They
I
play
think so.
40 home games a year plus playoffs.
No, I think we're going to go to DC and see Devils Capitals. That's our plan. We're working on that.
Your daughters have really gotten into this New Jersey Devils thing, haven't they?
My daughters, yeah, well, and the one daughter is going to be competing down in Ocala at the big horse show.
Okay,
So
yeah.
what do I do with the other kid? You know, I got to do something fun.
I have to admit, I was an only child. We only had one child. I never had that problem.
Yeah, we got
Mark
two.
spaced his two kids out so that he didn't have that problem either, and he's an only child. This is, it's uncharted territory for us, Seth.
Oh, it's
what
charted.
do I do with the other kid?
What do I do with the other kid?
This has
All
to
right.
be your proudest moment as a father, though. I mean, honestly,
I
you've
love
turned your oldest daughter into a diehard fan of your favorite team. I mean,
I've
is
said
there
to you guys
anything
before,
more?
She's
you
a
could
bigger
do?
fan than I was when I was 15, easily.
Don't know if there's anything more you can do as a dad Honestly, is there a greater achievement in the first 14, 15 years of your young son or daughter's life than to turn them into as big or a bigger fan than you of your favorite team?
Oh, it's the best. It's the absolute best. She has already this morning asked me who should be the goalie tonight. It is 8:05, folks. 8:05. I have already received the text. Who are they going to start in goal tonight?
It's good parenting right there, Seth. You've done it. You've done a really good job. Not much else left for you.
Not much. Nope. I'm done.
Really all on mom from this point forward. You've done what you needed to do, Seth.
Now, the only flaw could be if she meets a cute 15-year-old at a Devils game. That's the only way this can go south.
No, what would go south is if it's a Devils Rangers game and she meets a nice boy from the other side.
Oh, no.
She is not allowed to date a Ranger, Islander, or Flyer fan. Bruins, I'll accept. Capitals, I'll accept.
Hold on. We just went through this with Trent, our new producer. Okay. He went home for Thanksgiving and he's got these rules because, he's 24 years old. And so we're curious. Hey, you got a girlfriend? Have you met anybody? And of course, he's a big Detroit sports fan. He's like, could never date a Bears fan, could never date a Packers fan. And we're like, you do know you're going to marry a Packers fan. And since you get married where she's from, you're going to get married in Wisconsin, right? The hell I am. I'd never do it.
Yeah, Seth, for what it's worth, I completely support these practices and principles that you are instilling in your daughters.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have to understand.
Okay.
Priorities.
You're right. Good luck with that.
She's going to come home one day in a Ranger jersey, and Seth's going to be beside himself.
Oh, my God. I will have failed.
This is
No, I know my kid. I trust my kid. No, she wouldn't do it.
This is what I hope for, Seth. About 9-10 years from now, she's actually dating a Ranger. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, that'd be cool.
That's allowed.
Oh,
Just
that's okay.
Fan. Player okay, fan no chance.
Well, that's right. That's right.
So what were your thoughts, Seth, when Ohtani got the $700 million deal?
Well, I thought the initial thing was all the reporters that said, oh, baseball's not going to go for this. Baseball's not going to approve this. Baloney. This is going to be something that if you can defer that much money because of the luxury tax and other tax implications, why are the Yankees not trying that with Giancarlo Stanton's contract? Why are you not taking all dead contracts that are albatrosses in this fight to stay under the luxury tax? Why are you not doing that as well? And what you're doing is you're taking a sport that now has this bankruptcy of the RSNs. You have two teams that are not going to be making their RSN money this year. The competitive imbalance is going to grow exponentially, and you just made it worse. Well, it's fine. It doesn't impact me. I didn't watch Angel games with him, and I'm not going to watch Dodger games with him. They play at 10:30 at night.
Okay, here's the deal, though. There are very few owners, even though they're quote-unquote rich, who can afford to do what the Dodgers are able to do here. The other part of this contract apparently is you have to, yes, they hold off paying him the $68 million for 10 years, but apparently they have to take like a good chunk of that money and put it aside every 2 years, and they have to show that they have the liquid to be able to pay it. So like most of the other owners, Seth, couldn't even do this because they couldn't come up with the cash, if you know what I mean, and put it aside and go, here, look, we could pay him now if we had to.
Well, considering the fact that, my instinct is he's going to be a closer. I just think that Ohtani is going to be a novelty for a couple more years, but I don't think this. Look, because you were able to defer the money and still can go out and sign other players and stay under the luxury tax, good for them. That's great. To me, this is you're turning this sport into a sport where there are going to be 5 competitive financial teams, and everyone else is just going to look at them. And economic disparity has plagued baseball for decades. It's just going to be exposed even more so now. It's fine. I wanted him to go to the Blue Jays. And I felt bad for Morosi because he's a really good dude and a great reporter who got really bad information.
All right. How do you fix it, Seth? I mean, if that's the case, if the competitive imbalance, this is because it's the salary cap that'll never happen, or
I don't know how you fix it. Smarter men than me have tried and failed. So
But
you're not changing the system. What I just think is baseball has this idealistic viewpoint of they're going to get all the teams in-house and create a streaming service or like an MLS type rights deal, and they're not. And
But Seth, I'm
luck.
going to challenge you here, and I know we have a short amount of time. Okay, but the Yankees have
Podcasts are
won.
good.
The Yankees have won 1 World Series in 22 years. The Dodgers have won 1 World Series in 30 years. I mean, we go down the list. The Red Sox, they've won 4. Okay, but they've won 4 in 100. I mean, the Mets haven't won one in nearly 40 years. I mean,
but that's not the benchmark. The benchmark is going to be how many times do these teams just start spring training and make the playoffs? These teams make the playoffs in March. And there are other teams who go to March. And, in my 25 years covering the sport, what the best thing about spring training was, and I remember this sentence because managers told me this, if X, Y, and Z go right, we're in it. And the likelihood of that is diminishing as you have the economic disparity.
the Arizona Diamondbacks are just in the World Series. The Tampa Bay Rays
That
are
playoff system with the 2 out of 3 means anybody's a crapshoot. So why spend $700 million when you're already selling your tickets?
I still guarantee, though, the Padres spent all that money and they didn't even make the postseason.
Right.
Seth.
And
That's
the top 3
But now
payroll
the Padres
teams
can't.
Well, yes, because they're relying on the TV money. The TV money's going away, and they're in trouble. Yes, and the owner died, and they've got major issues. And we got to plug your stuff here. But the top 3 payroll teams in baseball all missed the playoffs last year. Mets, Yankees, Padres all missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
There none of the 3 won more than 82 games.
That's right.
Yeah, so I mean, money does not breed success in baseball. It helps.
No, my issue is not with those teams. It's more with the Dodgers and Atlanta having 5 days off after the end of the season, losing all the mojo, and then your season just becomes a crap.
All right, 30 seconds, go.
Steve Cohen on Sports with Friends, former SiriusXM boss, Hall of Justice. I love saying this. Ms. Marvel's mom.
Nice.
Ms. Marvel, her mom she steals the show in the show and the movie, and she joined me on the podcast. I can't wait to put that together today because it was so much fun doing.
Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. Follow Seth on Twix, Twitter/X at Seth_Everett. That's with 2 T's. Seth, all the best to you and the family. And you tell us if even one person comes up to you and mentions the Boca Raton Bowl.
Go to roofclaim.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Have a Molly Christmas, a Molly made Christmas. Give your family a gift of a clean house. When you're looking for professional house cleaning services, you want to make sure that you find a team that can accommodate your budget, schedule, and cleaning preferences. Molly Maid is proud to provide thousands of families across the country with industry-leading services tailored to their specific needs. Call Molly Maid today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymade.com/FTMYERS.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Florida.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
David, I don't know when you do Orlando, I don't know if he's on Twitter anymore. Because Big O Show didn't come up with anything. And I searched it and looked for him, and I don't know if he just, I mean, that doesn't make any sense to me. But I searched him, I couldn't find him. And it wasn't too long ago that he was retweeting every crypto thing he could. So I don't know if something happened.
Big O Show. Big O Show.
Yeah, and again, I get nothing when I go to that.
That's weird because
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's weird because I'm looking at it.
At his Twitter handle?
Yeah.
Maybe he blocked Mark.
Maybe he blocked me.
No, there's no way.
He used to follow me. Now he blocked me.
We'll confront him about it on the air.
Oh.
Hey, first question for you.
Yeah?
What do you have against Mark?
No. But it would say he's been blocked. So
Yeah, you're right.
I think he follows us both.
He did.
At Big O Show.
It says he followed. There it is. Wow. I finally got it. And I couldn't. And I mean, literally, when I start typing something, they come up.
Right. Right. So that's in 20 minutes. Jake Chapman is next.
Let's talk some basketball.
Oh, Trent's all excited. Do 9 minutes on the NBA here. On one specific team, too.
A good team.
Trent's adopted second NBA team. He's going to pick a young team that's picked itself up from the ashes in the last 3-4 years. You know, like the team he really roots for, needs to do.
Watch all these young players that went the same lottery that my favorite players went in.
Yep. Trent's going to be talking to all his friends and family about, you know what Detroit needs to do? They need to follow the Orlando Magic blueprint.
Hey, they've been to the finals more recently than my team's won a playoff series. And that was in 2009.
Yes, Canada Relief. Michael K. finally ate an egg for the first time at 62 years of age, and Al Michaels has never had a vegetable. Yeah, I have a feeling Al next year is the final year of his contract with Amazon, and I have a feeling next year's Al's last year.
Yeah.
That I think Amazon, they will have established Thursday Night Football, and they won't need to be paying their play-by-play guy that much. Because Al makes $1 million a game. He makes $15 million. My guess is they can find somebody to do that for 20% less, 80% less.
Okay, we got Jake. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
The Big O, Orlando Alzugaray, to join us. We'll talk plenty of Dolphins coming up in a little more than 15 minutes' time. Well, we had them on when they weren't good. So the least we could do is bring them on when they have the third best record in the NBA. He's Jake Chapman. He's the radio voice of the Orlando Magic. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Jake Chapman OM. Jake, it's David and Mark. First off, thanks for your time. Secondly, on days off, do you just walk up to people at bars and restaurants and go, hey, do you know who has the third best record in the NBA?
We're actually getting. I've actually had, and it's only been a recent development. I've actually had a few people come up to me and say, "How about those Magic?" as of the last few weeks, it's taken a while. And look, I can't blame Central Floridians or Floridians in general for hopping off the bandwagon at some point. And I'm not one of those guys who says, "If you hopped off, stay up." No, there's plenty of room. It's a fun team. It's a young team. I think brighter days are even. Are ahead for us, but it's been a great start to the season and almost the polar opposite of last year when we started 5-20.
In a very simple question, why? What was the start? I mean, they were expected to be better this year, but this kind of start is even exceeding what I'm guessing you all thought was going to happen. What has been so different to the beginning of this season?
Yeah, I've been trying to kind of go back to my bookmarks right at the beginning of the season, training camp, and say, you know, what were our expectations? And I remember being asked a similar question, and it's just kind of like, you know, why don't we float around 500, maybe a few games above for most of the season, and then just be in striking distance in March and April, play-in tournament, whatever. And look, that still could very well be where you end up, or below. Hopefully not, knock on wood. But I think heading into the season, we knew that this team, if healthy, could be significantly better than their record showed last year. But the bottom line was, after that 5-20 start last year, they went 29-28 over the last 57 or whatever games, and they were one of the best defensive teams in the league. I think they were sixth in defensive rating in that span. So you knew if you were healthy with everybody coming back and the roster that you accumulated, and I've used that word specifically because it's been kind of bit by bit over the last few drafts and over the last few trade seasons, you had a sense that you could be better than you were. I think what's happened now is the defense has stayed consistent and the offense is starting to catch up. And it's just a great group of kids. And I realize that it's, you know, everything is great when you win, and when you lose and nobody seems to like each other, the chemistry word sort of evaporates. But it's a really sort of young, fun. They like defending. They get engaged on that end. Everybody's got different personalities that sort of mesh really well together. Really what it is you have continuity now. Coach Mosley's in year 3, and you brought back just about everybody from last year, with the exception of 2 rookies and Joe Ingles, a veteran who fits in like a glove. So it's just been kind of a slow ascent. And at the beginning of the season, teams don't like to defend typically across the NBA. We're locked in every night, and I think that's made a big difference.
And most young teams don't defend, right? I mean, like, look at Sacramento, and they had success last year, but a bunch of young guys, they don't like to play defense. All right. It's unusual for young teams to buy in on that side of the ball, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think you've got, you look at some other teams that are in similar situations, like in Oklahoma City, and you have to have the right good players. And by that, I mean, you have to have players who take pride in their defense, and your best players have to defend. When you have, 2 or 3 young players who are scoring all the points and then a few quote-unquote defensive specialists, it can be real easy for the specialists to say, you know what, I want to score every once in a while. And it can be real easy for, the 8th man on the team to look at the best player not defending and say, why am I going to, bust my hump for this guy? It doesn't mean something. Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner defend. Are they going to be all-world defenders? No, probably not. But they try. They try on that end. And then you have a few guys that are absolute defensive specialists and do take pride in Jalen Suggs and Jonathan Isaac. So you've got this nice mix where everybody sort of knows their role, but nobody's afraid to kind of put their butt down and guard out on the perimeter, including your 2 best players, Franz Wagner and Paulo Banchero, who are also both young. And so I think that, sort of pays dividends across the rest of the roster.
He's Jake Chapman. He's the radio voice of the Orlando Magic. That's the 16-7, third best record in the league, Orlando Magic. Thank you very much. You can follow Jake on Twix, Twitter/X at Jake Chapman OM.
And Jake, they've not been just a good defensive team. They've been a really good rebounding team, and that's translated on the offensive side too, because they're also getting to the offensive boards. I mean, it seems that this team has just bought into hard work.
They a lot of times that it's the only way you find your offense with this group, because perimeter shooting is still a bit of an issue. But yeah, I think you've got and this goes beyond Coach Mosley and his staff all the way up to Jeff Weltman in the front office. They've drafted guys who like work. And I think they've drafted guys who like competing. And I think that's part of it too. I mean, Paulo Banchero, you could tell from week 1, okay, this guy's not here for a rebuild. He's ready to go pretty quickly. And he's just a dog. And they've just got a whole bunch of competitors. A lot of times young players in the NBA aren't used to losing, period. And so it can be really easy for young players to get to start going through the motions. Okay, year 3, year 4, we're still rebuilding. Look at a guy like Cole Anthony. He's been kind of at the center of this thing. He was still a member of the team when we had Nick Vucevic and Evan Fournier and Terrence Ross. It was his rookie season when we kind of blew it up that trade deadline day and traded all the veterans away. And he's not a guy who's used to losing very much, certainly not at Oak Hill or in AAU, and he only played 1 season at North Carolina. I feel like if you do it for too long, then you can end up with guys who just sort of accept the result night to night. And Cole Anthony wasn't one of those guys. He's been sort of at the forefront of trying to turn the leaf. But then, yeah, you've got young players who came in and said, we're good enough to compete right away. And so, again, that's credit to Coach Mosley for getting the buy-in. But I think it's also just finding the right guys. And it is a really good mix of guys who want to fight every night.
All right, we got a couple minutes left. The next 3 weeks, though, right? This is the truth serum. I mean, your next 5, 4 of them on the road. You've got Boston twice, Miami, Milwaukee, Indiana. Then after a Wizards game, you go Philly, the Knicks, and Phoenix. I mean, the next 3 weeks, right, is the truth serum?
I like that phrase, the truth serum. Yeah, absolutely. This is the time of the season where everybody starts sort of rounding into form. So your veteran teams who think they have a spot in the postseason no matter what, they're going to start trying to get healthy and trying to gain a little bit of traction. And then, yeah, I think it's 11 of our next 12. What was it? Something like 11 of our next 12, with the exception of that Washington game, are against teams with better than 500 records. Or no, maybe 10 of 12. Because the only other game aside from Washington that was a sub 500 team is Golden State coming up in January. So you've got these trips to Boston. You've got home games, which, by the way, we've been absolutely electric at Amway Center this year. Home games coming up before the end of the year. None of them are gimmies. You've got Philadelphia. You've got Miami coming in. New York on the 29th is going to be a good one. They've been playing very well also. But we also have wins so far this season at home over Denver and Los Angeles and Milwaukee and Boston. So I think we've already proven that we can hang with these guys. Now can you do it at a consistent level? This weekend in Boston is going to be an absolute blast. I mean, you're talking about the best team in the Eastern Conference, arguably the best team in the league, period. And then, we got them the day after Thanksgiving at Amway Center. So it's going to be 2 games on Friday and Sunday that really will let you know, I think, where you are right now. And I'm pretty sure I know Boston well enough they've got those two circled as well. So it'll be a good start to this stretch. But you're right, true serum. I love that phrase because we're going to find out a whole lot about this team in the next couple of weeks.
Jake, thanks for making time for us. Safe travels. If we don't talk, have a great holiday season, and we'll talk after this stretch, okay?
Anytime, guys. Appreciate it.
Jake Chapman, the radio voice of the Orlando Magic. Follow him on Twix at Jake Chapman OM.
They're off to a great start. They're doing everything really well right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they could be a team that actually could make a move at the deadline to get better.
Look at you. Look at you.
Orlando Alzugaray, the big O. He's next to talk Dolphins on Miller and Moulton.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Twitch chat room people, I am curious who is a fan of who in the NBA. I know you guys aren't big NBA people, but like David said, we're getting to that point in the season, so I'm curious to see where everyone's allegiance lies. Sixers. I'm sure you're a big Harden guy. Deadstroke, are you all Boston? Bucks, nice. Celtics, nice. Wow. Magic, if you had to pick, not a bad pick. All Philly. Hornets, wow. Knicks, big mixed bag. I love it.
I mean, believe it or not, David, you're going to be shocked to hear this, but I just walked by Adam's office. He stopped me. Hey, how's the computer doing? No, I'm serious. That's a good thing. He actually
Yes, it is.
Somebody who cares.
Just a little bit. Of all places, so I grabbed I'm looking for Magic articles this morning because you got this guest. And I'm like, come on. The Guardian had an unbelievable piece on the Magic and all their success. I'm like, this is fantastic. Are you a 2X or a 3X t-shirt?
2.
What are you getting t-shirts for? The Boca Raton Bowl?
No. Look at that baby.
Oh, the Troy. It's awesome. My mom, because we have the game on Christmas, and so I'm going to bring the Fragile lamp, and I'm going to have a Fragile sweater. I think Buck's going to be done with me soon. Logic Man, I was never a 3X. Never.
Hey, you're the guy that said tarp. I'm just making with t-shirts because they shrink. It's the only reason I asked.
I agree, and that's a fair question. And listen, I'm fat.
I'd have never said it with a golf shirt because they don't. I know you're a 2X,
but Isaiah Thomas killed the NBA for you.
He killed the CBA for the rest of us.
I was going to say. I mean, he killed the Knicks, but killed the NBA?
Hey, everybody wish Ed a belated happy birthday because I didn't see his text in time. It was Ed's birthday about a week or week and a half ago.
Happy birthday, Eb!
All right, Orlando's good. And we're back in 3 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the top of the hour. We've had a very lively, fast-paced hump day edition of Miller and Moulton. And, well, you want lively, you want fast-paced, and you want the best damn South Florida sports show. You go to our next guest. He's Orlando Alzugaray, affectionately known as the Big O. You can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X, at Big O Show. He does his show beginning at 10 a.m. every day. It's a live podcast. iTunes, Spotify, Google, Podbean, SoundCloud, YouTube. You can find it everywhere. How you been?
I am doing great. Can't complain. Recovering from a weekend in Vegas and a late red eye, but overall, man, feeling good right now. Can't complain.
All right, outside of the gambling and everything else, you usually see a concert out there. Who'd you see?
Well, sports gambling, really, a little bit of craps. Mostly, I went to see U2 at the Sphere. This is my second and third time seeing it. I went on opening night when I was out there for Showtime to cover the Canelo fight. And so I got tickets for opening night. And so I already had these tickets for the 8th and the 9th. So it was really fun to go see my favorite band on the planet. And I was on the floor this time around. I was in the 200 section the last time around. This time around, I was on the floor, and it was just absolutely phenomenal.
All right, quickly, scouting report on the Sphere. Okay, is it different than all the other venues? Is it wow, you got to go see a show here, the place is amazing?
Yes, if you are a concert aficionado like I am, Okay, and I've been to Red Rocks and Madison Square Garden and the LA Forum and a lot of places here in South Florida where you can actually enjoy great concerts and great acoustics. What they did there was they perfected the sound of a concert, is what they did. I've never heard anything sound more clear than what you hear there at the Sphere. And that, to me, was the most impressive part. The visuals are absolutely awesome. And
We kind of lost Orlando right at the.
my favorite seat so far is on the floor at the back end of the bowl in the floor. Okay, that's where you get the visuals and the audio and everything. I stood right next to the stage on Bono's side a lot, and that was really cool. And I sat in the seats. My favorite one is on the floor, and it is the best sounding building I have ever been in.
And I know you've seen a lot of shows, so that is incredibly high praise from one Orlando Alzugaray. All right, the Dolphins' offensive line is in shambles. Can they get the horse into the barn and get this division done with where their offensive line is right now?
Well, my brother, you tell me, can Mike McDaniel start coaching? That's what I need to know because, you know, I'm an old guy. I've been around the block a couple times, and I watched Shula coach with Greasy, and I watched him coach with Woodstock, and I watched him coach with Marino. I watched Eric Spoelstra coach all kinds of teams from the Big Three to a team full of guys that are just like journeymen and go 41-41 and go to the, finals and Eastern Conference finals the last 4 years. I've seen him win with all kinds of teams. I need to see coaching from Mike McDaniel. He's fantastic with Tyreek on the field, but I need you to adjust as a coach. And one of his grave failures is that he does not stick to the run. And in that game, he had plenty of opportunities. And if you watched Hard Knocks last night, towards the end of the game, when they ran in those 2 touchdowns, after the first one, he walks over to Mostert and Ingold and says, well, it was an easier decision for me. I knew I had to go back to you guys. And it's like, yo, dude, why didn't you do that throughout the whole game? You've been able to run the ball. You've got 4 backup offensive linemen, and you keep putting them in pass protection, making it much harder. And anybody knows, and I'm sure he knows more than I do, but as an old guy, I know this. If you run the heck out of the ball, that'll open up the passing game just so beautifully for you. And you are forcing it by passing consistently without using the running game. And these are things that are frustrating with him at times. He's got a marvelous offensive mind, but he is stubborn in his approach at times, and he makes it harder on his entire offense, not just the line, but the quarterback. He makes Tua have to have the hardest passing tree that there is out there because he's passing at a deeper level than everybody else in the NFL. If you watch the averages, his yards per pass average, it's way up there over everybody else, and that's crazy. And that's because he's taken way too many chances when you have an effective running game. And I hate to give you a long answer, but again, being an old guy, I remember when Marino and Shula gave up on the running game. Well, I understood that. Tony Nathan or Mark Higgs or Sammy Smith or whatever you had was never special. It was just serviceable at best to have Davenport or whatever you had there. So we understood when you abandoned that running game. This running game, gentlemen, is number 1 in the NFL in total yards, in per carry, and guess what? They're 13th in attempts. How in the hell are you number 1 and yet you're 13th in attempts? Last year, you had 2 running backs that ran for over 4.5 yards a carry, and you were dead last in attempts. His ignorance to use the running game is what is hurting the Miami Dolphins, with starters or backups on the offensive line.
Well, and I also thought, Orlando, that in the final 2 series, trying to get the first down, which might have sealed the game, and then obviously needing a field goal, yes, Tyreek was far less than 100%, but to me, I thought he could have been a decoy. If you put him on the field, you get a completely different defensive look, and they put him on the field for the second and final, plays of the game. So, I mean, I'm surprised he didn't just say, listen, don't even run hard, but just go out there, stand at the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that's what Randy Moss was half of his career, because half of his career, when he wasn't running a route for himself, he was walking. So, he was kind of a decoy himself half the time, because he wasn't trying half the time. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you can put Tyreek out there. If Randy Moss did it for a living, you could do it for a short time. I understand. But the key was they kept putting a shell on the top, just like New England did. What'd you do when New England did that? You ran 200 yards on them. Why didn't you do that to the Tennessee Titans? You were gouging them for 6.7 yards per carry in the first half, and you went away from the run towards the end, and you ruined that drive. And then the second half, again, you go away from it, and you end the game with a 5.1 yard per carry average. Any team in the NFL would give their left arms to have a 5.1 yard per carry average. And if you give that to the Baltimore Ravens or the Tennessee Titans, they will gladly run the ball forever because they know the math. Oh, we're getting 5 yards a carry? That means you'll never stop us. Let's go. And that's what they should have done. That was bad coaching by Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel and Vic Fangio lost that game more than anyone else. In the last two drives, Fangio did not pressure the youngster, and you just let him sit back there and pick you apart, which was just absolutely ridiculous. So Fangio's defense was terrific, but at the end in the fourth quarter when they needed it, he didn't make the right calls. Mike McDaniel throughout the game just did not handle this the right way. Poor coaching on Mike McDaniel's part.
All right. Outside of the run, the defense, that was 2 drives. That seems like that's very fixable, Orlando. And obviously, you want them to run the ball, but defensively, they played solid for a whole game, and they blew it in 3.5 minutes.
Yes. It was just the last 2 drives that you figure, okay, the kid already scored on that first drive to cut it to 1. You need to get after him. You need to make him uncomfortable, and that's something that they failed to do, and I thought that was a huge mistake. That's where Fangio kind of ruined his day because they were having a great day up until the end of that game in the last 2 drives.
Orlando, you have been for the last couple of years telling your audience, listen, Chris Greer's different than the people who have run this franchise into the ground for the 15 years before it. Back off. Trust him. And you've been proven largely right. Tua came out after the game and said, guys, tough loss. Don't panic. We're a different team. We're not going to do what we did last year when we lost 5 in a row. Basically, he pulled an Aaron Rodgers, relax. Do you agree with Tua that this team is different?
The team is different. I don't know about the head coach. He still is abandoning the run. He does not get plays in on time still. He did it in this game where, on that second down, they had to waste a timeout in a key moment.
Yep.
Same bullshit. Oh, sorry. Same crap that happened against the Bills in the playoffs last year when he couldn't get the play in on time on 3rd and 1 and it became 4th and 6 and you ruined the season. And you had an opportunity to, shock the Bills there. Mike McDaniel is still not prepared enough. He's the one that right now is under the gun and has to show me that he can coach right and that his team is prepared and that he is prepared to get plays in on time. It reminds me a lot of, in a different way, in a different extreme, okay? So please calm down when I make this comparison. It reminds me of Mario Cristobal. This year, the Canes clearly had better talent than last year. I mean, by miles. But the coaching was mediocre. And so the coaching did not maximize the talent. And the coaching did not maximize the amount of wins because they did not do things the right way. Well, same kind of thing here. Mike McDaniel. See, with the Miami Heat, do you ever say Eric Spoelstra didn't get the most out of his team? No. That's impossible. You'll never say that. And that's my problem there. Did Mario Cristobal get the most out of his team? No. Is Mike McDaniel getting the most out of his team? He didn't last year, and he's not doing it this year either. And so that's where I have to say, yeah, I understand what Tua is saying as a player, but if your coach is not putting you in a position to be successful, that's going to be an even bigger problem. So Mike McDaniel has to prove to me that he's ready to coach at this level. He can coach as a front runner, but coach with pressure, coach with big moments and big games. I believe primetime games are like 3-8 under him or something like that. It's not good. It's not a good situation. You don't show up on primetime games. If we hold this against other players and other coaches and things like that, we got to hold it against Mike McDaniel. He needs to do better.
Who then do you think the team is to beat in the AFC?
Oh, that's a great question because Kansas City doesn't really have the receivers that they've had in the past.
Nope.
And so Mahomes is kind of, and then, you know, the book is out on how to defend them, that you brace Kelsey and then force everybody else to beat you. And then I look around the rest of the AFC. I don't believe in Baltimore. I never have. I don't believe in Lamar Jackson. I think it's, you know, it's just a running offense that's difficult to prepare for during the regular season. In the postseason, he never does anything with his arm. So I don't really believe that much in Baltimore. I think it's kind of open, you know, because so not the same team either. They've had a bunch of injuries and they've got a bunch of issues. Josh Allen is inconsistent at times. The AFC is up for grabs. I think even the Dolphins have a shot at it, but I think if you're anybody right now in the AFC, any of those teams that I talked about, you have to say to yourselves, come on, man, let's get our stuff together. You know, we can make a run. Outside of Baltimore, I don't believe that you're going to be able to get there with Baltimore without a quarterback that can truly be accurate on a consistent basis. But I think that AFC is wide open, I have to say. Wide open.
Orlando Alzugaray, weekdays, 10 a.m., a live podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Google, Podbean, SoundCloud, YouTube. You can get it everywhere. Follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Big O Show. Orlando, congratulations on all your success. You've worked very hard for it. And have a great holiday season. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, my friend. Anytime you guys need me, I'm here. Y'all be good out there.
Orlando Alzugaray, the Big O in South Florida sports. He has put together a phenomenal guest list. Quite frankly, guys we'd like to have, but they've signed exclusive deals with him.
He is locked into the 305. There is no doubt about that. Orlando does a tremendous job of covering all things Miami. And you can see he's not as enamored with the head coach as the nation is.
No, he has no problem, by the way, also being a lone voice on things. So I think he does a heck of a job. Friend of the show for a long time, Orlando Alzugaray.
Also, the network. We thank you for listening. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. in the 239. The Diamond District Bonus Hour is next right here on Miller and Moulton.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hey y'all, it's Ben Allen. When it comes to singing and performing live shows, I'm in my comfort zone. When it comes to wanting to surprise my wife with diamonds, I'm a bit lost. That's why I go see my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. Jason and Todd helped me blow my wife away when we got engaged, and I've been applauding them ever since. If you're in the market for diamonds this holiday season, Southwest Florida has been giving Jason and Todd a standing ovation for over 20 years. Go see them and let Jason and Todd know that Ben Allen sent you.
Thanks, Ben. We're proud of you and your accomplishments and thrilled that you are part of our Diamond District family.
This holiday season, visit Jason and me at the Diamond District. We look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail.
Mark Miller for Molly Maid. Why Molly Maid, you ask? Trust. Moulton was a customer for 15 years. Affordability. Didn't I just say Moulton was a customer for 15 years? Worry-free services. Our professional house cleaners are fully insured and a 24-hour warranty. Call Molly Maids today at 239-774-5839. That's 239-774-5839 or online at mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. That's mollymaid.com/FTMYERS. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
I almost text Gary during the break and let him know if he wants to listen later. Today was day Woodson won his Heisman if he was looking for a reason to fire you.
I may just text him that. $25 years ago, right? 98, right?
97.
Gotcha.
97.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They were in that 98 draft.
There was a fun little video with Scott Hansen and Peyton, the Manning cast for the 2 games. It's like, how do you, this commercial-free thing? Manning's like, this commercial-free thing. Do you wear a diaper? And they go to Hansen. Hansen's like listening to the message. And there's a big thing of Huggies in front of him. And he's like, what do you mean diapers? He's pushing the diapers off the table. It's fantastic. It's well done.
What?
I didn't say anything. I just thought Roll Tide, unless I said it out loud again.
SEC.
I had to laugh. My wife's boss last night, his youngest just got accepted at Florida State, and he doesn't even acknowledge it. The true Gator that he is. He's like, he can't go there.
Oh, yeah. I just processed what you said. Yeah, that's hilarious.
He just didn't even, like, the wife's telling you, he got into Florida State, he got into USF. He's waiting on UF. He'll find out in February. And it was just like, yeah, he's not going to Florida State.
How many schools did you apply to?
1.
Okay. I applied to 3, but I only had the intent. I mean, if I got into state, I was going.
I got accepted in September to Michigan, like very early.
Okay.
And I had good grades and good ACTs back then there was no way. My grades were borderline to get into Michigan.
Okay.
And I never applied to Michigan because if I would have got in, I would have had to. The school's too good. You don't.
Yeah, right. You
And
don't
I'd
turn
never
that down.
wanted to go there.
Yeah.
I had no desire.
I applied to
just
4
did-
schools.
4?
4.
David, you went to Scranton?
Yes. I applied to St. Ambrose College in Davenport, Iowa, because they were offering me a golf scholarship. Got in, turned down the scholarship. Scranton, a small school in Jersey, just to have it. But I got waiting listed at Rutgers. Broke my heart.
Yeah,
And I applied twice. Retook the SAT even.
What did you get on it?
In the 1200s.
You didn't get into Rutgers?
I know.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network. That's 6 to 9. 9 to 10, we do just for you in the 239. Because we owe you a lot. Without you, we would never show. It's as simple as that. We know it. And Todd and Jason, they like you. They respect you too. They want your business. I mean, all they do is have the, highest quality diamonds at the best prices with the best service. Besides that, they're lacking. They are. We're just trying to.
They're well dressed. I mean, outside of that, that's the only thing.
And they're right. They're they make good conversation. They're big sports fans. There's you listen to this show, you can go in, you can talk to them about anything. One guy roots for the South Florida teams, the other guy roots for Ohio teams. I mean, basically, they're a complete representation of the 239. So there you have it. Todd and Jason, the Diamond District. Check them out, especially this time of year. I hear diamonds around the holidays are a popular gift.
Never a bad gift.
No.
I don't think you can ever go wrong.
No, seems like a surefire, safety net. What do I get? Go visit the boys, Todd and Jason. Guys, help me out. Help me out. I need a stocking stuffer, if you know what I mean. So there you have it. We talked about this briefly a couple hours ago. First off, let's go back. We had Orlando Alzugaray on last segment. If you missed it and you're just joining us, he's everything South Florida sports. Do you agree with his critique of Mike McDaniel?
Not completely. No.
Okay.
His point of having to figure out something with Tyreek not on the field is interesting because you're not. I mean, adjusting mid-game to losing a receiver if you don't know he's going to play or not. I was with you. I was surprised because he gets hurt early. He plays limitedly the rest of the game, and then it just didn't make sense. So I can't throw that at McDaniel when a player gets hurt mid-game. Now, if he's out this week and they're not game plan for it, then it's on him.
I do agree with his point about they don't run the ball. We pounded that point home all last year when they were sliding. Tua gets hurt, they're 8-3, and we keep saying, the one guy's 4.5 yards to carry, the other guy's 4.7. What am I missing here? And the offensive line struggles to pass block. Maybe they should run the ball more. And even McDaniel, after the season, he said, you know what? We should have run the ball more. That's on me. Clearly, this year they are running it more. They've gone from 31st or 32nd in attempts to 13th. But I do think that's the value of in-game coaching. And some people have it. Some people learn it. Some people never have it. And to me, Monday night, from going back and looking at the play-by-play chart and what have you and the way the game was going. The other thing that I don't understand, Mark, if I just make one, which I think is legitimate criticism, when you guys watched the game Monday night, and obviously I was working the other game, but to me, when they kept getting inside the 10 and inside the 5, why are they throwing the ball? That I didn't understand at all. It's much easier to cover speed in that confined an area. You're running the ball effectively. Run the damn ball.
Because they are, I mean, when the numbers last week, David, they ran it more than they do on an average game.
Yes, they did.
So
31 times I think they ran the ball.
Yeah, I mean, that's their run pass ratio is one of the best in the league in terms of you want a team to run the football. But the prime time game thing, that's becoming a worrisome statistic. If we're going to pin all, we pin that on a lot of other teams and a lot of other guys.
Well, I'm not, and you know me, I'm not wanting to make an excuse, but what games do they put in prime time? Theoretically good matchups, right? Can't you argue also this is when the Dolphins are playing their better opponents? So in theory, it's the tougher games on their schedule. What have the Dolphins not shown they're able to do the last 2 years?
Beat good teams.
Which is why Monday night was so troubling, because that was a 4-8 team that they were a 13.5-point favorite against, the biggest favorite in the league that week. Once again, I'd like somebody to call Kirk Herbstreit. Maybe Ashley Moody, the Florida Attorney General, instead of suing the College Football Playoff Committee, maybe she just should have said, in football in the last 8 days, okay, because you guys basically quoted Vegas and the point spread as to why it is you're keeping Florida State out. Cincinnati is a 10-point underdog, went to Jacksonville and won. Tennessee is a 13.5-point underdog. They went to Miami and won. The Giants is a 6.5-point underdog with a deli counter guy at quarterback. They beat the Packers. Okay, Peyton's.
And you know what? And and I know those are all fun. It's a fun bit, and I like it, and you make me smile every time you do it. But it's really one game that should be on that. It's Washington versus Oregon. That is apples and apples. That's college,
right? 10-point underdog.
NBA or NFL games, and anything can happen any given Sunday. Any crap you want to say, but they were a 10-point underdog against Oregon.
By the way, I mean, if you want, I can go back a few years. Ohio State was a 2-touchdown underdog against Miami in the 2002 national championship game. I know it's a sore subject for Canes fans. You guys think you got robbed, the whole deal. I get it. Okay. By the way, Ashley Moody could say, hey, ask a Florida State fan. They were a 13-point favorite in the 2000 national championship game against this little feel-good team out of Oklahoma. And they got beat 13-2 in the Orange Bowl. Okay? Don't put teams in the game based on point spreads. Don't ever do that again.
Well, they're not putting them in the games because of point spreads. They're putting them in the game because it's a better television show and more people will watch it.
Well, and basically, we're going to sue and we're going to try to find the email. That's what this is all about, the text or the email.
If they sue and find the smoking gun, what do they get?
Not a damn thing, Mark.
Not a damn thing. I mean,
there's got to be.
We got lawyers that listen to this show. What are they going to win?
There has to be a hidden agenda, right?
No, there's a hidden agenda. Politicians getting involved in sports. You say there's a hidden agenda. Yeah, it's to suck up to a fan base.
Right. There was a time that grandstanding maybe worked for politicians. Maybe there was a time that they did that and people said, ha, look at that. Now we see right through it.
Not in 2023.
No, it's asinine.
It's ASA 10, ASA 11.
See what he did there? I kind of liked that.
Yeah, I do too. No, the kid's got real potential. You know what he also has? The quote that the great 20th century philosopher David Lee Roth, he's got charisma.
David Lee Roth.
Yeah, look up the video. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. That's once a show I have to date myself. And by once, I mean like 17 times. So that's all. That's just another example. All right. we found out, I gotta say, it's like every day we learn something new about this Ohtani contract. I just, if we could do this for like the next few weeks, I'd really appreciate it, but I don't know how much more there is to learn. So, Mark, apparently the Dodgers weren't the only team to offer $700 million. That's because apparently the offer was not of the Dodgers' doing. So apparently Ohtani and his team came up with this and kind of like passed the offer around. Here, LA, this is yours. Here, San Francisco, this is yours. Chicago, Toronto, here you go. Here's what it's going to take. Our numbers at the bottom. Okay, call us if you're in. And apparently LA and San Francisco were both in. And Ohtani said, well, I mean, if I'm in California, I mean, you know, I already got a place in LA. I guess I'll stay here. Besides, have you seen that ballpark in Frisco? It's a problem to hit the ball out there. I will say, yes, we know he was on roids and what have you, but nobody has played for the Giants since that has hit home runs at a prodigious rate. And Bonds didn't slow down at all going into that ballpark. And like nobody hits home runs there. And he hit a bazillion of them. I digress. So how about that? Is that how we should do negotiations now? Mark, you're the agent. You just call a bunch of teams. You meet in a conference room, say at an airport in the middle of the country. So O'Hare, you rent a room for a half an hour. Hey, guys, nice to see you. Hey, Johnny, haven't seen you in a while. How's the kid? Good. Listen, you guys all here? Okay, here. We're just going to pass out a one-sheeter. Yep. No discussion needed. You know, just, you know, here you go. And you don't have to worry about the person sitting next to you looking at it. It's the same thing. And then our numbers at the bottom. And listen, there's some nice food. You eat as much as you want here. It's all paid for. Don't worry about it. And listen, have a great holiday.
Not sure why you need to bring him to a room. Send a group email, a group text. Here, everybody's on it. Just let you know. Here it is. Here's what I want. You agree to it, we'll talk some more.
Do we do a Zoom? Hey, I just want to see all your faces. Listen, you're all receiving an email right about now. Let me know if you received it. Yep. Freddie, we know you're not good with technology. Is one of your kids nearby? Okay, pass them the phone. Tell them to keep a secret, by the way. Yeah. Okay, everybody got it? Good. So that's what we're looking for. First one to say yes. Or if a bunch of you say yes, well, you know, we'll pick and choose the best.
68 million deferred. That's the deferment of this is still my favorite part of it.
I don't fully understand why it only counts 44 million a year against the AAV. That one I can't figure out. This is like one of those mathematical brain teasers they put together, and I'm stumped. And I'm never stumped in a mathematical brain teaser either. So I'm totally messed up about this Ohtani contract.
It is. The fact that he's doing it interest-free, I mean, there are so many parts of this that, and I know it's for tax reasons, but it's the whole, show me the money. Isn't that the phrase?
Well, he's not from here. You know, obviously he didn't see the movie.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd, with the Diamond District. Take a stroll in the mall, pop into a few Joy stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Hey. Two things. Did you see Bob Herrick's tweet?
No.
21 PGA Tour players hire lawyers, demand policy board share details of live golf negotiations. And Tommy DeVito and Zach Wilson are your players of the week collectively in the NFC and AFC.
Oh, my goodness.
That is actually crazy, because if you told us before the season that the two quarterbacks of the Jets and the Giants won player of the week in week whatever it is,
Yeah.
you think it was Rodgers and Daniel Jones.
Right.
And then if you said the names, if you said it was Zach Wilson and Tommy DeVito, you wouldn't know who Tommy DeVito is.
Yes.
You'd think it's a joke.
I agree with that.
I love the NFL.
Really? Really? Easton Stick. I'm going to do this next. I rattle off the guys who are starting this week in places.
Oh, wow. David, I did not know this. Herrick reposted this, so I happened to be on his thing. Top 5, the Q School begins Thursday. The top 5 finishers and ties will get their cards. The last 10 years, this event only awarded varying levels of Korn Ferry Tour membership. That's fantastic.
Well, remember, back in the day, you used to keep, it was like 20-something cards.
But the fact now that you can go to
Right.
Q School and get on tour, I think that's great.
I agree. Peyton's in a little hot water.
What did he do?
Well, apparently on the Manning cast, he referred to DeVito's agent as slimy.
And that's offensive? I mean,
Well, why do you find him slimy?
Yeah, okay. I guess that's fair.
Okay. And then people say, is it because he looks too Italian?
Right. Okay. I see.
So
I'm too naive. I didn't understand at the beginning. I
Right.
mean, I get that it's a derogatory term, I guess, but I didn't realize.
Well,
Why?
also, what actions was he exhibiting that made you conclude he was slimy? Because he was celebrating his friend and his client doing well, or because he, kissed the grown man next to him on the cheek, who then kissed him back? I mean, what, was it the gesture? I
The
mean,
hat.
what?
It was the hat. It was
Well,
the outfit.
The father,
I saw this tweet the other day that said, I think every NFL team should have a third string quarterback who's a over the top stereotype of that region, because that's Tommy DeVito
Totally.
in Jersey.
Well, I've kind of said that. I know about my wife being from Pittsburgh. Everybody, I have a buddy who's from Pittsburgh, and I've like told her, I go, everybody looks like him.
Yeah.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. It's all coming up in a little more than 15 minutes time. Miller and Moulton, thanks so much for listening to the Diamond District bonus hour. So you read something during the break. It's worth throwing out there. We pay more attention to golf than 99% of the shows out there that are not on PGA Tour radio.
Bob Herrig, who's been a guest on this show countless times, tweeted out a little less than an hour ago that 21 PGA Tour players hire lawyers, demand policy board share details of live golf negotiations.
Did they just pull an Ashley Moody here, Attorney General of Florida? They looking to find out how the sausage was made?
That's what it looks like.
I have to admit, it sounds like they don't trust the commissioner and his business people. They're just coming to that conclusion now. He had the presser on CNBC 6 months ago when he announced he wanted to do a deal with the Saudis. You're just coming to this conclusion now? It really does, though, sound like they have issues.
The rank and file are honked off.
Well, you got two groups that are honked off. You got the powerful and the top 30 that are honked off with you're negotiating in secret and this, that, and the other thing. And then you got the rank and file who are furious with the new system they came up with, which is making them feel less important than ever before. If I'm not in the top 50 now, how with the system that you've set up, do you know how hard you've made it for me to ever get back into the top 50? And I'm playing for nickels and dimes compared to what you guys are playing for. But also, I mean, Mark, with the new system that they've set up, they don't have the money for it. Well, if they're not going to do the deal with the Saudis, then okay, they have to come up with another private equity firm that they're doing the deal with. Mark, this just in. You're running the private equity firm. I'm the PGA Tour. I need money. I seek you out. You think you can make money, okay, by going into business with me. But it's your money that you're risking. Who's going to control the money?
I am.
Thank you.
It's really simple.
This whole storyline out there that Jay Monahan, this is crap.
Well, first off, the fact that Jay Monahan's still employed is staggering to me.
I agree with you. I agree.
But it's enough golf because there's some football news that we have to get to.
Uh-oh.
We don't often do this. In fact, don't often do it. I don't know if we've ever talked about the NFC and AFC players of the week before.
Okay.
But that's come out in the last few minutes as well. And it's Tommy DeVito and Zach Wilson.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding?
No.
I mean, they both played well, but nobody played better.
Tommy DeVito and Zach Wilson are the NFC and AFC players of the week.
That could be a poll question. Which one had the better game? Which one deserved it more, even though they both got it? By the way, has that ever happened before where both New York teams?
Hold on. Can we just stop? Brock Purdy threw for like 350.
Yeah, but with these
Tommy
meaningless
DeVito
awards,
threw for like $179.
they take context in.
What context? Now you sound like those 3 university presidents who testified before Congress.
Look,
be careful if you want to go context.
These awards are meaningless. That's number one. Number two, they look at the fact that Tommy DeVito won his 3rd straight game, and
they can't look at that. It's the player of the week. It's not the player of 3 weeks.
You're proving my point. It's meaningless. It's dumb. Who cares? They gave it to Zach Wilson because he had a decent game finally. Won.
Yeah, but that makes a mockery of the award. I mean, like you said, Zach Wilson at the half.
David,
at the half,
the
the Jets had 82 yards of offense at the half.
Could you tell me who won NFC Offensive Player of the Week in Week 7?
I can tell you it was never Tommy DeVito or Zach Wilson.
Fair enough.
Brock Purdy threw for 368 and 2 touchdowns. Are you kidding me? Tommy DeVito running and passing was 100 yards less than that. How about Deebo Samuel scored 2 touchdowns? How about you give it to somebody who's not a quarterback?
David, this is good for the TV show. You got to expand the cast a little bit.
Listen, they could have named Tommy DeVito, and like his family, I don't know, delicatessen of the week or something like that. There was no one in the AFC better than Zach Wilson. Seriously? Seriously, no one in the AFC? Come on. I find that hard to believe. I mean, Lamar Jackson threw for 316 and 3 touchdowns and ran for 70 yards. Really? Zach Wilson was better than Lamar Jackson?
Zach Wilson was 27 of 36 for 301.
Okay.
I'm just giving you the numbers. That's 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was sacked 4 times.
Unbelievable. Honestly, if you nominated him, I'd be like, we're not giving the award to a player who sucks that badly. Okay, we're not. We're not doing it. How about Joe Flacco? 311 and 3 touchdowns. He was on a couch 3 weeks ago. How about Joe Flacco? No?
Tommy DeVito only had 4 incomplete passes. What are you talking about?
He didn't throw the ball more than 8 yards beyond the line of scrimmage till his last pass.
He ran for 71 yards.
He did. He was running for his life. He did a very good job running the football. He did.
It's Tommy DeVito.
Bada bing. I get it. I'm from Jersey. I love it.
Doesn't sound like you love it.
Come on.
And his agent with the hat.
Right. Just Father Guido Sanducci there. Golly. Man, oh man. The endorsement deals that Tommy DeVito is going to have in the New York metropolitan area for the rest of his life if he never takes another snap. Hey, this is Tommy DeVito for
Sal's Pizza.
Yeah, for Sal's Pizza. Listen, as you can tell, my family knows good Italian food. When I tell you Sal's is the best, Sal's is the effing best, okay?
Oh, he's got to find a parlor that sells chicken parm and then go with that.
He might have his own chicken parm. You might be able to get DeVito chicken parm in your stores by next week.
The Patty LaBelle.
Yes.
That's what it's going to be.
Hey, this is Tommy DeVito. I'm opening up a new line of apartment buildings, okay, called Living Home with Mom. Talk about affordable housing. It is a fun story. It is. I mean, I'm not that old and crotchety. It's a fun story. It is. And it went national on Monday. It was just a New York, New Jersey thing until Monday. Now, the family and the hugging and the kissing and what have you, and the signal they give up, hey, Bacagalupe, that signal up in the air, Tommy Cutlets. That's the other thing. I mean, if he endorses your chicken cutlet, I mean, that's it. It's over. The competitors might as well just go out of business.
These cutlets are as good as my mother's.
And
that's saying something.
I don't say that about anything.
Hey, Syracuse alum. I wonder if he'll make an appearance at the Boca Raton.
Hell, he might be the grandmaster of the parade at this point.
Tommy DeVito, your NFC Player of the Week.
I can see him now at the
player.
spring football game. Honorary coach on the sideline, Tommy DeVito at the Syracuse spring football game. Brett Bielema's doing national interviews because he spent 1 year at Illinois. Okay, that's how much of a phenomenon this DeVito guy is. Golly. Really? Zach Wilson, Tommy DeVito, Players of the Week? We can retire that award now, can't we? It doesn't mean squat. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap today was the day when next.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
If that wasn't specific to this week, I would make that a best of for Christmas, but it would be misleading because by then Zach Wilson will have, be benched again probably.
Right, exactly. And DeVito will have, now be 3-2 as a quarterback, but right.
Unbelievable. The last time the awards were ever given out for the week. Just quit while you're ahead. Just stop giving them out.
What is on ESPN tonight? Because I don't have them with any NBA. Am I missing something?
Could be a hockey night.
No, TNT has hockey on Wednesday.
Okay. Then it's not a hockey night. Let's
So I'm trying, and they've got very little. I mean, there's no good college basketball tonight. I mean, is tonight like a Jimmy V show? Is it? They?
I don't know the answer to
There's
this.
a 30 for 30 on. The Minister of Defense is on at 9.
Reggie White?
I don't know. Won't give me any information. But that's at 9. So before that, I don't know.
I can't find anything on because there's no college football till Saturday.
Right.
RCB, a tough choice at quarterback next year. Yeah, it's very tough. DeVito's making the minimum, and Daniel Jones is making over $40 million. It's a brutal choice. Oh, the SEC football schedule release. Got it. Is that at 7 or 8? I was going to say. They gave up a night of the NBA for that. 7 to 9. 2 hours of a schedule release. What do they think this is, the NFL?
The SEC doesn't draw much, does it?
No. Somebody released yesterday because this
Yeah,
is the
that's
10th.
on ESPN and SEC Network, by the way. I mean, that's
Holy
sure. Oh.
Took me a while to get to the ESPN schedule on my phone, but I got there.
Okay.
I'm done now. Dick Van Dyke's 98.
He's actually made a couple public appearances lately. He's not shaving.
Well, neither's Letterman.
I know, but yeah, Letterman's thing is big and bushy. But Van Dyke's he looks.
He's 98.
I know.
Ooh, yeah, David, I just looked it up.
Yeah, he's
Not a
he's
great
kind of
look.
It's
yeah.
all over the place. It's just kind of
Yeah.
grown. It's the guy that he can grow the beard, but not everywhere. It's just
Right.
kind of, yeah.
He looks like a hermit.
By the way, it looks like the Dodgers are trading for Glass now.
Okay.
Like it's happening, but Rosenthal reported it.
Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour, 16 until we're out of here. A reminder tomorrow, Roy Cummings talking Tampa Bay Bucks. Dr. Roto, we in the playoffs in fantasy
We
football?
are in the playoffs, David.
So these questions have never had more importance. Dr. Roto to answer your fantasy football questions. You can even submit, why is it that I suck at fantasy football? And Doc can, lay down with you on the couch and give you an answer. But Dr. Roto, Roy Cummings tomorrow. Do we have a developing story?
Looks as if we have a bit of a developing story that the Dodgers are, according to Ken Rosenthal, the Dodgers are discussing a trade in which they would get Tyler Glasnow and Manuel Margot from the Rays for a couple of players, financial exchange likely.
Well, that's the Rays unloading about $30 million. I think Glasnow's 20 and Margot is 10. So Rays have been trying to give Margot away. I mean, they're looking for something with Glasnow, but they've been trying to give Margot away. So Rays freeing up money. That's because, they're going to make that big signing. That's to sign Bellinger.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
1936, the NFL championship. The Green Bay Packers defeat the Boston Redskins 21-6. It's the Packers' fourth title, and the Redskins would move to Washington, D.C. for the 37th season. 1950, James Dean begins his career with an appearance in a Pepsi commercial. Today in 56, the Dodgers traded Jackie Robinson to the Giants. Robinson said, "I'd rather retire than be traded."
I hate those guys. Yeah, okay, we get it. No. I ain't playing for them.
The World Football League grants its first franchise today to Detroit in 1973.
Really? I forgot Detroit had a World Football League team.
1975, SNL uses a delay for the first time. That's because Richard Pryor was the host.
That was a wise
You want to see what was on television then? Just go watch the skit with Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase. The word association. For those of us old enough to remember, we know exactly what was said in that thing.
There is nothing funnier that you will see this week.
Today in 83, the highest scoring NBA game. The Pistons beat Denver 186-184 in triple overtime.
Alex English.
Oh, we needed one more overtime to get to 200. Damn.
Driving Miss Daisy was released today in 1989. Today in 97, Charles Woodson won the Heisman.
I voted for him.
We know. Nearly text one of your bosses to let him know this is the one time a year you're allowed to fire David.
Well, he's fired me a few times, almost all of them jokingly. All right. So I texted him instead of you. I texted him and said, "Hey, 26 years ago today, Charles Woodson won the Heisman. Do you know I voted for him?" Text me back, "Oh, I know."
This was the first time in the President's Cup that we lost today in 98. I didn't even know we ever lost that event. I thought we were undefeated.
I think it's the only time we've lost.
Is it?
I think we have a loss and a tie. We had the famous tie in South Africa.
Famous?
Yes, famous.
Famous.
It's actually, I think the Ryder Cup should go with it. So it's tied Tiger and Ernie Els. They picked one guy on each team. Sudden death, go. And they played like 4 holes in darkness. And these guys were making putts. It was like, you and your buddy out to decide the $10 Nassau. We ain't going home until somebody wins. And you got the lights on in the car from the parking lot on the green. It ended in a tie. It was too dark.
I have trouble with famous and President's Cup in the same sentence.
Well, I'm having a lot of trouble with Zach Wilson and Tommy DeVito as the players of the world.
I understand. So. Ron Dane won his Heisman in 99. Jason White won the Heisman in 2003.
Oh, yes, he did.
Who else was on that ballot, and how the hell did Jason White win that?
2003, yeah. Oklahoma was number 1 in the country till the very end. What's interesting is what happened then would never happen now. They got beat 35-7 in the conference championship game by K-State, and the computer still put them in the national title game. And he still won the Heisman. Neither of those things would happen now unless he played for Alabama.
Very nice. Very nice. Well done there, David. Today in 2007, the Mitchell report was released.
That was steroids, right?
Yeah. 89 players that presumably use steroids.
Presumably?
Yeah, presumably.
What was the word that I used you had trouble with? Okay. I'm having trouble with you using the word presumably.
Fair enough. Cam won his Heisman today in 2010. Mariota won his in 2014, and Derrick Henry in 2015. It was today in 2018 that Dirk takes the court for his record 21st NBA season, surpassing Kobe's 20 seasons. Is LeBron at 21 this year?
He is at 21.
And Ovechkin, a year ago, had a hat trick and a win over Chicago to join Gretzky and Howe as the only players in the NHL to have scored 800 goals.
I think he's still at 5 for this year. I mean, they've been playing for 2 months. He's got 5 goals, and 2 or 3 of them are empty net.
Mary Todd Lincoln, Archie Moore, Bill Vukovich, and Larry Doby, all born today.
Do 3 named people bother you or impress you?
Wow. Depends on the person.
Okay.
But probably as a generalization, I would say it bothers me. My grandfather had 4 names. He had the double middle name.
What?
Edward William John Miller was my grandfather.
Could they not decide? I mean,
I don't know.
Pick one, for goodness sakes.
I've got a buddy with a hyphenated middle name as well.
Wow.
Dick Van Dyke's 98. Ferguson Jenkins is 81. The Motor City Madman Ted Nugent, 75. Morris Day and Steve Buscemi are 66. Jamie Foxx is 56. Sergei Fedorov is 54. And Taylor Swift is 34 years old today.
Oh, so's her boyfriend.
What did I miss, David?
So today in 2000, Gore concedes. Aren't you surprised he never ran again?
Yes. To be that close.
I mean, and quite frankly, we've hardly seen or heard from him since. He divorced Tipper like 6-8 years later, and then
if he'd have done it before the election, I might have voted for him. He and that whole PMRC. No, done with her.
No,
He's a
we
pile.
had just started to get to know one another then. And I remember you telling me, well, I'm not voting for him, for his wife. And I go, what? And you late 80s testifying before Congress. I'm like, wow. So I just brought it up. You know, it was historic, and it is kind of surprising. I mean, you know, you got people running for president 4 or 5 times. He didn't even run again. Hell, some people even thought he won.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Duluth, Minnesota for the good, where the firefighters in Duluth went above and beyond because a pit bull had broken free from its leash and jumped in Lake Superior. 8-foot waves, obviously chilly temperatures this time of year, and the rescuers were able to go out into a ship canal and get the dog. I'm impressed. For the bad, we come to Florida, where a man passed out in front of a real estate office with his shoe on fire. He had set one of his shoes on fire to stay warm and was so hammered he passed out next to the fire. Michael Drubberly, at the age of 38, was arrested and charged with disorderly intoxication and recreational fires after this happened in Lady Lake, Florida on December the 5th. Finally, the ugly, we go to the Keys, where Courtney Epps of Taylor, South Carolina, has been arrested after leading police through a dangerous chase that had her going speeds of over 120 miles per hour through Marathon, Florida.
Come on.
No joking. Going the wrong way down the highway. 2 different sets of strips were set up to finally get her to stop. When she was taken into custody, they took her to the hospital for tests first. That's when she decided to pee herself and start singing gospel songs.
I've got nothing. And that's very rarely the case, but
she would alternate between sleeping and singing and talking to herself during the treatment.
Gospel, huh?
Gospel.
Oh, man.
And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, December the 13th, 2023.
So it's an interesting sports night on television. And by interesting, I mean there's not much going on. There's 9 games in the NBA. The only one that is nationally televised, the Lakers and the Spurs on NBA TV at 8 o'clock. You know, that's Wemby. And San Antonio's 17-game losing streak. By the way, Trent, I'll give you the Pistons in 11.5 tonight at home against the Sixers.
You like the Pistons to cover?
No.
Oh,
give you the Pistons.
You, remember you, a week ago. I'm going to bet the Pistons. Okay, so here we go. 20-game losing streak. They're home. Remember, that was big last week when you bet them. They were home. They're home for the Sixers, 11.5-point favorites. You going to take the points?
Here's why they're so difficult to bet on. Because
it's a yes or no. Are you going to take the points?
If Embiid plays, no.
Well,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, Stars take games off against the Pistons because you can. They suck.
Heat are 8.5-point home favorites against Charlotte tonight. So the Spurs and Pistons put their losing streaks on the line. 4 ranked teams in action in college hoops, including FAU at home against FIU. 24.5-point favorites are the Owls. NHL, 5 games, TNT with the doubleheader. Bruins, Devils early. Sabres, Avs late.
Great first game and 2 teams that can score in the second game. Avs may score 8 against Buffalo.
ESPN is going with a schedule night, literally. 7 to 9 tonight, the SEC schedule reveal. Remember, they're not in bed with them. They have the same partnership with the ACC that they have with the SEC. There's nothing you've seen or heard from that network in the last 10, 12 days to make you think that they're heavily favored with one conference over the other.
Nothing like a 2-hour special to talk about the SEC schedule in December.
This is ESPN getting the word out that they are the home of the SEC next year, because I don't think any sports fan has heard. So there you go. Hey, listen, to Texas and Oklahoma, they'll have some sexy matchups. I know Alabama's playing one and Georgia's playing the other. So, they're going to have some games. We don't know what network, what time, but they're going to have some games.
I have a funny feeling there'll be less bad weeks this year on ESPN with the money they're paying.
I have a feeling the schedule has more depth, Mark, than it has had when CBS had it. Yes.
That's just a guess.
Right. That week before Thanksgiving isn't going to be the black hole that it's been in years past. Right.
If it is, I'll fall over. That would shock me. There's not much in the sports world that would shock me anymore. If they have a black hole week on ESPN, I would be shocked.
So there you go. I wonder if Herb Street will be a part of it. I mean, because he could use some airtime lately, especially when it concerns college football and the SEC. I think he needs to promote it a little more. Personally. Yeah, he's this anti-SEC bias from Herb Street. He better change his tune.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in